And hello, everybody. Welcome to this, our final episode of Mass Effect using the Genesys system. My name is Thomas, and I'll be the GM for this final episode, joined by some incredible players. Say hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh, everybody.
And we join the final part of this story on the deck of a pirate frigate where Squad, Miles, the human, Talora the Asari, Erda the Krogan are battling for control during this impromptu mutiny after having recently been press ganged into this pirate's crew. Meanwhile, on the exterior of the ship, as it is hurtling through space, there is the Quarian Kalor battling in an epic fight with the captain of this vessel, one Captain Yanthi, an Asari. And where we last left off, Kalor, sadly, was impaled through the chest by the captain's sinister monomolecular blade. And during those last few moments of Kalor's life, as the blood sort of freezes and drifts around him, he thinks back to the extent of his life and how it has been steeped in loss and tragedy. When he was young, most of his family, if not all of them, were wiped out by complications due to ESO exposure, the same ESO exposure that gave him his biotic powers. But it doesn't have to be too tragic for a Quarian to lose their family, because on a live ship you can always find someone there to be your family. And that's what happened on the Alarai. Kalor was able to join and bond with more Quarians until tragedy struck yet again, when the Alarai was overrun with Geth and every person on that ship was slaughtered, leaving Kalor the only survivor as he was away during this tragedy. And across the various missions that he chose to pursue throughout the galaxy in the name of getting a better future for his people, it seemed that death and tragedy always followed in Kalor's wake, and now it has finally caught up to him. So in those last few moments, as he lies there drifting in space, his heart no longer beating, the last sort of memories of his life flashing before his eyes, he sees the faces of friends and family that he has lost along the way, and not through the translucent visors of masks and helmet, but truly face to face. He can see the people he has lost, their eyes brimming bright with pride in his actions, and their mouths grinning widely with the joys of this reunion. And Kalor smiles. Meanwhile, Captain Yanthi, having extracted the blade from Kalor, suddenly from behind, she is ambushed by the holographic, biotic, ancient Prothean weapon/entity known as Genesys, unleashed by Talora in a desperate attempt to try and save their Quarian friend. And this entity moves behind Captain Yanthi like a sinister angel of death and says, "Commencing interface." And during those moments, Captain Yanthi sees someone she has not seen in a very long time, as two doors open up to a courtyard where it is pouring with rain, and she sees an Asari matriarch with a rather cross look on her face. And Yanthi is saying, "I don't understand. Wasn't the fact that I was here proof enough that I got one over on you? Doesn't that prove something?" And the matriarch says, "Yanthi, this is the most elite group of fighters that the Asari Republic has. You have a lack of experience, and you fabricated your credentials to be here. You are no longer welcome in Janiri's circle. Best you leave now before you further embarrass yourself, child. And Yanthe starts to seethe with rage. And she says, I have done everything right to come here. I might not have the same experience as the rest of you, but this is where I'm meant to be. This is what my skills are for. My entire life, I wanted to be in Janiri's circle. This is what it's all been leading to. You can't just throw me out. And the matriarch says, you are still a child, immature, undisciplined, and unworthy of joining a force as prestigious as Janiri's circle. And at that point, Yanthe starts to scream. And the matriarch says, your impudence is a mockery of everything that Janiri's circle stands for. You are henceforth indefinitely barred from ever joining our rank. Security, escort her out of here. I don't want to see her ever again. And immediately, Yanthe can feel at either side of her two Asari grabbing her and starting to pull her back. And Yanthe is screaming and furiously trying to break through, saying, no, you can't do this. This is where I'm meant to be. This is where I was always meant to be. You can't do this. And through the outside of what she can see, we see that on the side of the ship, she is being dragged by biotic echoes created by Anamnesis as it probes through her mind and tries to create these fabrications of her most intense and strong memories so that it can get even further and deeper into her mindscape. And Yanthe at this point says, no, I have gotten better, and I'll prove to you just how much better I've gotten. And she grabs her blade and swings it at the nearest biotic echo, completely bisecting it and dissipating its form into energy around her. And she slices at the other one, freeing herself. And then she looks forward and sees the matriarch standing in front of her, imperious and serene, frustratingly serene. And Yanthe redoubles the grip on her blade, and she charges forward, still thinking that she is lost in this memory. Seeing the pouring rain, the courtyard of this academy, she leaps through the air and attempts to slice at the matriarch. But unfortunately, Yanthe is not in that courtyard. She is on a ship, or at least she was, before she decided to leap through the air. The frigate that you are all on is currently going through constant acceleration. And the second that she leaves its surface without use of her magnetic boots, she's gone. And with that, Captain Yanthe is lost to the cold, empty void of space.
Tragic.
Meanwhile, in the CIC, Miles, Erda, and Talora, you're currently in a pitched battle with a number of the remaining pirates who are fighting against you. And at this point, one of them looking at the dead Krogan, at their numerous dead allies, looking at the sort of remnants of these non-hostile biotic echoes unleashed by some weapon they don't understand, they take a moment to consider their position and what the wisest course of action might be. And they take their weapon, and they drop it to the floor, and they slowly raise their hands. What do you all do?
I am gonna look to Erda to see if she still wants us to kill them all. Because this is all her plan, so...
Erda's gonna look at the ones who haven't raised their hands. It's like, well, get with it.
Why don't you make a coercion check, Erda, to see if they are going to be reasonable or if they are going to be unreasonable. And I'm going to give you a blue, given the circumstances. I'll also reset the story points so that you all now have 3. Oops, I did it wrong.
This is going to be interesting because,
There we go.
It's actually one of the talking skills I'm not exactly particularly good at. So, here we go.
Let's see what we get. And that is a failure with a threat. Oh no. So you see that the Turin with the jetpack, who has been sort of haranguing you this entire time, he has put his weapon down and seems to be backing off. The Vorcha, however, do not seem to be cognizant of the reality of their situation right now, and seem to be sort of just lost a bit in the bloodlust and the rage of a fight. And immediately, when you look at one of them to sort of have them do the smart and right thing, they kind of just look at you and decide to shoot you immediately in response. So Urda, I'm afraid you have an attack coming away from the last of these pirate raiders. And so you're going to get attacked with a success. That's going to be 5 points of damage to you, plus 1 if you've still got some shield left. And it kind of, at this point, it sort of just bounces off your kinetic barrier a little bit. And the Vorcha doesn't, do it with a whole lot of heart. But immediately, the Vorcha that shot you before any of you can retaliate, shoots to the ceiling and gets flattened up against it. And the one next to that Vorcha kind of goes, and also gets flattened against the ceiling, completely knocking the two of them out immediately. And you can see that one of the ceiling panels opens up, and you see Arcus, and he grabs one of the Vorcha and sort of throws them back down onto the ground and just makes sure they're out cold. And you see that up in those awkward sort of maintenance ceiling panels, there is a sort of a quarrying hand that comes out, just sort of pulling itself forward, and you can see the Quarian known as Viaz sort of poke his head out and go, "Hey, it's alright, I've got your back." And then you hear a sudden as something explodes, and he goes, "Ah, my hand, ouch!" And you see his sister quickly popping up behind him as Sunny says, "I just told you to watch out for the capacitor. You had to redirect it. What is it? I just said it. You don't ever listen to me." And he's like, it's fine, we're fine." And he sort of leans down to the rest of you and goes, "Are we fine? What's the situation?"
"Yeah, they've surrendered. It's all right."
You can see that Arcus gets up, sort of brushes himself down a little bit, and he says, "That's right. I'm the captain now."
"Good job, Captain. You fought well." I'm gonna walk into the captain's quarters to see if she's still there, because I don't know.
When you say the captain's quarters, do you mean sort of the nose end of the bridge where the piloting controls are?
I figured there was her room was close by with the Varen.
There are definitely, the Varen was near the front of the ship, near the nose, where she has a little throne where she overlooks things. So you can either kind of look around the various doors around here, or you can see the Varen at the end. Just sort of kind of sitting there at the moment.
I'll walk over to the Varen.
Okay, yeah. As you move over there, kind of going through the long deck towards the to the flight controls, you can see that there's 3 stations, each occupied by a pilot who would just try to keep their heads down right now, not paying a whole lot of attention. One of them kind of looks around to you just with a bit of fear, not really knowing what's going to happen right now. The Varen very quickly kind of seems to pick up your scent and turns to you and snarls and bares its teeth at you. You see no sign of the captain.
I'm gonna snarl back at the thing.
Okay. Let's do a coercion check to see if you can outsnarl this Varen.
That's how you deal with animals.
All right, a success but threat. Interesting. I think there's a slight sort of altercation that takes place where it seems like immediately this thing's just going to try and rip your throat out and destroy you. And it leaps at you, it bites on your hand, and it's filled with terrible pain, and you get very ready to just take this thing down if it's a threat to you. But sort of your display of dominance in those later parts, it kind of starts to slowly roll over and expose its chest to you, and just seems a little bit confused, a little bit submissive as you kind of stand over it.
Yeah, I'll wrestle it to the ground and then rub its tummy there you go. There you little guy.
Long slimy tongue comes out, kind of just splats on the floor as it just kind of sits there enjoying the attention.
Okay. So I'll ask the Varen, "Where's your boss, huh? Where's the captain?"
One of the pilots turns around. You can see she's in a sari, and she says, "The captain went out there," pointing to an airlock nearby. "There was
Space?
a Quarian on the hull."
Okay. Kaylor, you there?
Silence.
Has Project A made it back to me?
Not at this point, no. But yeah, Talora and Erda, while Mars is going about this, what are you both doing?
Yeah, I'm probably trying to call Project A back to see if I can get a status report.
Okay, yeah, doesn't take too long before it sort of meshes through the matter of the ship's hull, and you see its glowing yellow light suddenly appear. The various sort of deckhands who are just, cowering at their stations get a little bit spooked by this strange glowing entity suddenly appearing, and it quickly blinks its way over to you, and it says, "Memory retrieval successful."
Okay, so what exactly happened?
It doesn't respond with anything more than that.
Could you give me the memory of what just happened?
And with that, you still have the core, correct? Inside that little box. Did we take it out of the box at this point?
Actually, it's in my shirt. Remember, I tucked it in my shirt for the fight.
Got it. Big glowing ancient Prothean quantum shielded core. Yes, you kind of like pull it out, and Anamnesis immediately kind of disappears inside of it, uploading all the memories that it just absorbed. And if you would like, you can interface with the core to sift through those memories, specifically the most recent ones.
Right. Talora turns around to Fodor and says, "I'm gonna check Project A's memories real quick. Have my back?" And then he's probably like
Yeah.
scrolling through shit like.
So Erda, you witness this, and you see the Turian is kind of like standing there still with his hands up, just kind of like looking at you, and the Quarian's just like, who are all these people who suddenly showed up on this ship?
Yep. You got a name?
He says, Ziv.
Ziv. All right. Smart of you to stand down. And she kind of looks at the Krogan that we fought and is like,
just splayed over the galaxy map, like a hologram sort of clipping into his bloody form.
Wish it didn't have to be like that.
Shall we say we both did things that maybe we wish we didn't, and let bygones be bygones?
You don't shoot me in the back or the front or any of my friends in either of those manners. I can let things go.
That's okay. Yes, that's acceptable. If somebody can take out Herthak, then I don't want to mess with you. Oh, that was Herthak, by the way.
Herthak. You know what clan he was?
Kriok.
Kriok. All right. She's going to file that information away for later just in case she needs it.
Sounds good. All right.
Yeah.
Talora.
I'll ask the people in the cockpit to hail the captain if they can get her on the comms.
Yeah,
I still don't know where she is and that she's dead. So
they will absolutely do this. They have no defense they can put up, so they just kind of like go, "Hey, Captain. Captain, there's people on the bridge. Do you have a name? Should I?"
Oh, my name is Smiley.
There's a human.
I got a grenade. And I'll bounce the grenade up and down in front of their face.
There's a human called Smiley with a grenade on the cockpit. Captain? Hello? Is anyone else not getting through? Hello, Captain? She is not responding at this present time. I don't know why.
She hiding? She get back on the ship? Can you scan for her?
They kind of say, she's not really one to hide, and they do a quick sort of life form scan of the nearby ship, and don't seem to find much. And
do they find the dead Quarian attached to the hull?
They do, yes.
Yeah. Well, that sucks. Keep that to yourself, huh?
They kind of like.
I'll go back to the group.
Okay. So Talora, As you sift through the memories, most recently deposited by Genesys, you see the lifetime of Captain Yanthy. Fairly short relative to Asari. A life filled with sort of entitlement and this sort of untempered desire to get her way, this almost brattiness about her. As a Asari yourself, you're very familiar with somebody who's sort of gone really off the deep end with their in their youth. And Yanthy seems to have been one of those people. And of course, at the very end of these memories, as you kind of like swiftly go through them in your mind, you see the pitched battle that took place on the hull of the ship. You feel the impact of Kalor's mighty charges and biotic punches, and just how sort of discombobulating they were, and how frustrated Yanthy was with this guy who just would not hold still. And then you feel the sickening feeling of a blade being pressed into his stomach as his life is brought to an end. And shortly before hers, doesn't come to an end, but before she loses footing and disappears into space.
So do I get any of what memory Project A showed her, or is that just because
Well-
she must have felt, Project A say something, and then
Yes, you get that part as well.
Okay.
Everything from those final moments you get.
All right, so she's gonna, I don't know, unplug her brain, and then with like tears in her eyes, she's gonna turn around and say, "Forta,
Erda.
we order. Thank you, coffee."
They don't look remotely the same.
And it's like, let's go. We have to get Kalor's body from the hull.
What?
Oh, you
Kalor's
heard.
Kalor's attached to the hull. The captain killed him before she.
And Erda starts stomping off towards the airlock
Yeah,
at speed.
the captain's not coming back. When I sent Project A, it showed her a memory, and she is floating away into space. She will not come
Did
back.
the opposite of going down with the ship. Just jumped right off.
Well, she got away easy. She hurt Kalor. She killed Kalor. She got off easy. And she stumps after Erda.
You got grav boots? You ready to go out there? What happened to her? That's not an isolated thing. It's dangerous.
On the one hand, I almost feel like a lot of our gear probably has some of that, like, what's that, standard? But, like, I also don't know the system that well to know if it
I think
actually is.
Your gear definitely does. It's just the matter of, if you ever go out on a ship hull while the ship is moving, it's always just incredibly dangerous.
Okay. Well, yeah, she's gonna activate those grav boots. I mean, first she's gonna, look out, see if she can see anything.
There's no real angle you can get to really see this part of the ship.
Then
Sure
yeah,
about this?
gonna
There's nothing you can do for him. He's
walk
already
out
gone.
there.
All right.
And Talora and Erda go in the airlock, and the air gets cycled, and you both don your helmets and are now
I love you too.
able to walk on the exterior of the ship. And you can see that floating there, tied to a sort of mag line, still tethered, is Kalor.
I think some part of Erda is still hopeful that he's just, he's hurt, but he's not dead.
Mm-hmm.
So Erda's gonna go, try and bring him back in to the ship. Probably saying to Talora something to the effect of, I mean, you're a pretty handy doctor, but I mean, well, fuck, that's probably more than you can do either. Shit. And just because upon seeing the injury itself, it's like,
And it's not just the chest wound. You can see like one of his legs is very badly hurt. One of his arms is badly hurt. Like he's got scuffs and scrapes all over his visor and armor. Like he's been through a lot.
Just some reassuring chatter to Kalor that he can't hear, not just because he's dead, but because, we're not actually on a comms link and it's space. But yeah, I'm gonna gather him up and bring him back into the ship.
All right. So Miles isn't too long before you see Erda and Talora return.
While they're doing that, I'm gonna go back to the cockpit and look at the communications between this ship and I assume the Shadow Broker. I'm assuming that has happened.
Okay. Yeah, you can sort of ask one of the deckhands to like bring up comms. They are in no position to argue with you at this point, so they're going to do whatever you ask of them, as long as it doesn't get them a bullet in the back of the head. And yeah, they bring up the communications logs. It's very sparse. The most recent logs that they have is involved with Arcus, actually. Various bits of intel that he fed them that you can track back to the time you all docked on the cargo freighter that you arrived here on. Sort of security information about the cargo freighter, lists of personnel, lists of items that could potentially be plundered and stuff. And when he's on the ground, you can see there's like additional reports that he's been slowly feeding them in terms of valuable assets and sort of security personnel concerns as well. It looks like he, from the start, was casing this joint for his pirate companions. Apart from
I'll turn to him and say, looks like you've been working hard to get this place. Good job.
He goes, yeah. I suppose it worked out. Never according to plan, but that's how it goes.
Yeah, I was hoping to avoid all this, but it is what it is.
Hey, don't shed any tears for this lot. They're bloodthirsty marauders.
Right, but I didn't want to kill them, I don't like being forced to kill people.
Well, you or them, right?
Yep. At least now we can get paid.
Yeah, we can. And with that, Erda and Talora return through the airlock. It takes a little second for it to cycle again, and you all reunite, and you can see Kalor, who, is not a short person by any means, so he's quite just this fairly tall Quarian, held in Erda's arms, and you can see he's in just really, really terribly rough shape, massive wound across in the chest region, and his arms and legs just rough, very rough.
Wow, he got oof. So you want to put him somewhere?
Yeah, let's put him. Where's the infirmary?
Arcus kind of like takes a second and then goes, "Oh, hey, I should tell you that. We have a med bay. It was here when we took this ship, so it's pretty decent. Got somebody who even knows how to work it too. I'll show you where it is. Gonna make a quick announcement on the ship first. Just gonna let them know there's been a change in management, and that operations can continue as normal."
Talora, were you able to shut off all those ghost things in the hold?
Was I?
If you wanted to, you were, yes.
Okay,
Depends.
yes. Shut down.
Whatever horrors are taking place down in that cargo bay have now ceased.
This is what's about to happen. You can look at that announcement. I'm the captain now, and then you pin down to the hold, and there's that one surviving person who's like, hooray! Standing in a sea of corpses.
Yeah. Yes. So with that, you are able to take Kalor down to the med bay. You can see that there is a sort of a sawbones there, a very rough-looking rough-looking Volus, if there was ever such a thing. Heavily modified suit and armor. Got a lot of sort of...
Does he have a mohawk?
He has not like hair, but sort of adornment to the suit that could be interpreted as a mohawk, yes.
Yeah. Awesome.
Like got a lot of like graffiti and like sort of like suit tattoos going on as well. very, very tough looking. And you will arrive with this, effectively dead Quarian, and he's like, "Oh, good. I was worrying that we had too many antibiotics." And naturally,
Don't worry, he's already dead.
yeah, naturally missing sort of the reality of the situation, the gravity of it, and immediately gets to work trying to do something with Kalor, and goes about his work very quickly and diligently, not seeming to care who any of you are or what's going on. He's just here to do his job. So while he's seeing to Kalor, what is everyone doing?
I think we're all there, right? To see him up, and I'll say something like, "Well, rest in peace, Galore. You were smart. You were good with people. You were brave. You were one hell of a biotic. But you were reckless, and it got you killed."
And Dolores slaps you on the back of your head. That was unnecessary.
What do you care?
That's rude.
He's dead.
I am still here.
I'll stare right back.
It's like, you want to be rude, do it somewhere else.
Yay! I got it!
I ain't saying nothing that's not true.
I didn't say it wasn't true. I said it's rude and unnecessary.
Good. All right, let's go. Yeah. You do it your way. I'll see all of you when you're done. And I'll go back to the bridge.
What are you doing there, Rhoda?
Dutifully trying to ignore the argument happening behind her. And then once Miles goes elsewhere, she's gonna ask Talora, what are you gonna do with that sphere?
For right now, I'm gonna make sure that Kalor's body is resting peacefully. Let's straighten it out, clean it up a little. And then I will make decisions. Right now is not the time to make decisions. Right now is the time to honor our comrade who just died.
And you can see that the Quarian siblings have also followed you, and they've been very quiet up to this point, kind of watching from afar as you've been taking Kalor over here. And they seem to just be keeping at a very respectful distance, kind of just like watching over Kalor, and are just not really saying anything. They're just sort of bowing their heads. You're not sure if they're doing some kind of spiritual practice or if they're just taking a moment of respectful silence, but they don't appear to be really doing much apart from just being present right here, right now.
So yeah, Talora will want to do this, just straighten out the body, just make sure, kind of like this last service to the person, who fought for you. Just the respectful, making them look more restful. Especially since, if you think about it, she is still a civilian. She was never a mercenary. She was a teacher, a professor. So.
Yeah, the Quarians are quick to sort of follow up, just make sure you're not doing anything disrespectful in their culture. And once it appears that you're treating with respect, you can see that Sani sort of like takes a bit of her sort of the fabrics that cover her suit, very nicely adorned, very kind of like artistically Quarian, and it just starts sort of like laying them out and sort of giving them over to Kalor.
I think as that's probably happening or / before, Erda probably found the stealth generator she let him borrow.
Yeah.
And like she takes it back and kind of looks at it. And I think she just sits it in his hand and just kind of lets it stay. And she's gonna head off because there's not much more that can be done.
All right. So with that, Kalor is kind of like being seen to. At the moment, let's fast forward a little bit. The situation right now is that you are on a frigate that is setting a course for the nearest mass relay out of the system. Now, unfortunately, your current location is a little bit in the middle of nowhere. It is going to take almost a week for you to reach the mass relay, which means you've got a lot of time on the ship to meet your new co-workers, to establish, what you would like to do, to access the extranet and do any research or communicate with anybody you feel like you need to, and also sort of scavenge a little bit, find anything on the ship that you think you can use. So, with that in mind, what are you all doing over the course of this week?
I think job one is going to be to figure out what we're going to do with the box. So we should have like a meeting about that at some point.
Yeah, why don't we start with that, with Arcus and the three of you. Basically, the only ones who really know the most about this Prothean, this very dangerous Prothean weapon that you all have. You all kind of like have a meeting in a private area in the captain's quarters, we'll say. And Arcus is basically just like, so we need to come to an agreement about something.
The ship hadn't made any promises to the Shadow Broker, right? So everything is open.
I guess, yeah.
So at least we proved that, this is too powerful for anyone to handle. But that's all nonsense, because Talora handled it just fine. Right?
Either way, we should get it appraised.
I mean,
Well, I
you
have
think you're going to get more money for it than the Shadow Broker's offering?
Depends. At
Well,
the very least, I want to know what it can do so I can know if I need to ask for more.
Well, I know I reached out to a colleague of mine to find out some more about everything. See what they find out.
Is that where you want to go to get it appraised? Your colleague?
Appraised is not the word I would use. Analyzed, so we know what our options are.
Which is about the same at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm. Still applies that there's a lot of money. People tend to get stupid when there's a lot of money.
You don't have to remind me. We just
and-
spent the last week or however long repeatedly looking at that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe then we should stop just talking about it and,
No, we should get an agreement and
and
then
make sure nobody messes with it.
Yes, no one messes with the agreement and the object. So let's decide what we're gonna do and put it somewhere safe.
It
Yeah.
sounds like if this colleague of yours knows anything about it, maybe we should wait to hear what they have to say and then take it from there. You all know
Yeah.
my vote. My vote is sell it immediately. What are we
Same.
waiting for? But
Getting on the good side of the Shadow Broker, that's worth a lot.
Shadow Broker doesn't have a good side. Shadow Broker has a money side and a not money side.
Right, but the money side is good. It's real good. It can get you anything. Anything you could want.
Yeah.
Erdo was about to say
aside from
something
your
really
friends back-
mean and decides against it.
It's like, nope. Money will not get us Kalor back.
Yeah.
So let's just figure out what this exactly is before we do anything, because we need to have all the information. I'm not going to sell something to the Shadow Broker or anybody else if I don't know exactly what the consequences are going to be.
So who's this colleague of yours then? Where are they?
Well, our storyteller, Where's my friend right now?
They're a Prothean expert. It's actually been a little bit difficult getting in contact with them recently. You kind of basically got an answering machine equivalent sort of message, which is why you're still waiting a little while. And you sent. Remind me, what exactly did you send? Did you basically just like send an email saying, "Hey, here's the situation, help me out," or did you send any of the data that you have? Like, how much did you give?
Well, I would think that, since it's a colleague, yes, this is, but I would bait it with a little bit of a hook, so that my colleague would be interested enough to be like, oh, okay, but not enough that they would know too much.
Got it. Cool.
Just a little hook.
Of course. Yeah. So, effectively, yeah, you still have plenty of time before you're gonna reach the mass relay. So, hopefully they'll get back to you soon. In the meantime, Erda, you get a series of communiques. One of them is delivered to your personal email address, and it is titled "A Bad Apology." And if you elect,
Oh boy, here we go.
if you
Click.
when you read it, you see that it is Syndrus who has sent you this. And she says to you, effectively, to paraphrase, she says, "Sorry about how things got down there. I hope you understand it's nothing personal. I want to let you know that working for my brother is not all as it seems. He sees the world and people in it as tools to be used and discarded to achieve his own ends. So take that friendly advice for whatever it's worth. I managed to snag some transport off of that hell planet, so I suspect you and I are probably on a similar course right now. If you want to talk, here's some comm codes you can use."
And Erdis gonna take those comm codes, and I think honestly is gonna try and like rig up a separate set of comms than the one she usually uses with Cassis, just for
Because you know how he is.
yeah, just for safety and security reasons. Not gonna mix those two lines of communication.
Sounds good. Yeah, you can definitely go ahead and do that. And another email that you all actually get is one that is a formal a note of your termination from the Evenweir Mining Corporation, followed by a series of citations, followed by a series of emails saying how you breached your contract, followed by a series of emails saying the various laws that you broke and the legal action being taken against each of you. Because, of course, even when fighting a war on her planet, Jace found the time to do the damn bureaucratic paperwork to let you
At
all
least
know.
I officially quit before I got fired.
Let you all know that that you are not in good standing with the IMC.
Sad.
Yes, very, very sad. Many tears shed. Unfortunately for you, Taroa, there's one additional sort of email that you receive, and it informs you, it sort of directs you to a portion of the contract that you know was endlessly long, that you signed up to when getting on this job, and it goes to a section that says, in the case where an employee cannot deliver on reparations, it will be taken from those they have any kind of contact or connection with until such dues are paid, which effectively means that the various damages the IMC has railed against you for what took place on Varkon, all of that kind of hefty monetary value is all being applied to your brother, who is unfortunately an employee within the, shall we call it, the IMC umbrella. Which means that to pay off, because you were working to pay off their contract, you needed a lot of credits to do it, but it wasn't impossible. Now it is effectively, they're going to be paying this off maybe their entire life, which for an Asari really means something. So that is the unfortunate piece of news that you received via email.
Yeah, Chalora is going to be like, I really pissed her off, didn't I? Maybe I shouldn't have hung up on her. All right, and then she's going to forward that to her cousin, who's a lawyer,
Got it.
and see if she can do anything about this.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Your cousin Vinny, right?
I don't know.
Miles, apart from
He maybe.
apart from the various bits of IMC related paperwork, your email is either mercifully or sadly completely empty.
Yep.
Not much there for you to get. Erda, you do get an additional message from Cassis, contacting you directly via comms, who is trying to call you right now.
Hello.
When you answer that, he kind of like says to you, "Hey, there's my favorite Krogan. So, mind filling me in on what exactly this plan of yours entails?"
Revising it on the fly, considering half of the plan didn't pan out.
Okay. I am still a little bit confused why stepping onto my ship with the item was such a problem, but I get it. These
Wasn't
things-
in my hands. Had to get it back.
Well, have you secured it?
Not yet.
Okay. You need to hurry up with that. Right now, your ship is on course for a relay. We're going to need to find a way for you and I to reunite with the item in your hand. Do you think you can manage that?
Look, I can probably get it once we go through the relay. No problem. Getting it before the relay and then getting off the ship, considering we are moving at speed, a little bit trickier.
You're not just going to sabotage the engines and blow the whole thing sky high? No? Alright.
I don't have to, so I'm not gonna.
Listen, sometimes it's more efficient. Alright, I will defer to your judgment on this one, Erda. Just remember, this is extremely important, so don't screw up, yeah? I'm counting on you for this.
Yeah, you'll get the thing.
Alright. I'll be there. I'll be there when you need me. And with that, he hangs up.
And after he hangs up, it's like, will you? Will you though?
He wasn't talking to you, he was talking to the artifact. Oh, sadness.
I will go see Erda.
Okay.
It's like a day or two into the journey.
I imagine you've like claimed your quarters, you've sort of at least got a begrudging respect from the crew, if nothing else.
I have the Varen there. Got all the
Yes.
Varen food.
Hell yeah.
Living a comfortable life.
You're told that the Varan's name is Nova, but you're free to rename it because nobody's going to stop you.
Nova's a decent name. I'll go see Erda, and I'll like, hey kid. I just wanted to check in, and I'll sit down somewhere in our quarters. You know, see how you were doing with the whole Kalor thing.
What's the check in on? So it's done.
Well, Dolores seemed to take it pretty hard. It's probably one of the first times she's ever had a companion die. I don't know what that's like for you. How many?
I don't know
you've
about
lost.
that.
I
The
mean,
Asari live a long time, and they have a bad habit of making friends with the shorter lifespan races.
sure, but like dying of old age is a little different than getting stabbed to death.
And she just kind of shrugs.
But I'm not here to talk about Delora. I'm here to talk about you. See how you're feeling.
Look, I just want to finish this job and then figure out where I'm going from there.
You don't have a plan yet for what you're gonna do with the money?
I don't care about the money.
But the money gets you places. It gets you things. You could get your own ship.
So does knowing people. So does doing things. Lots of things can get you places. Money's just money.
Money can get you stuff that other things can't. I mean, you don't have to take it, but I wish you would.
Why? What do I need that kind of money for?
So you can have options and do whatever you want instead of just this. Waking up from a sea of corpses every goddamn day.
Did the money save you from that?
I never had any money. Not this kind of money. I mean, sure, there were times when I had a lot and I could afford to take it easy for a while. But it never lasts.
And that's the thing about
This
money.
might
It never lasts.
This might. This might set you up for a whole new life. I never spend my money smart.
So having more of it's going to change that?
I'm a different guy now. I'm not just gonna buy more guns and ammo. Might buy myself a house somewhere or something. Go back to Earth. Who knows? I just want you to think about it. Have some hope. Live towards something other than a life where you're hiring your gun out for the next person. Because they're just gonna ask you to shoot something, break things, blow stuff up, burn down some crops. Because you do gotta eat. And I don't want that life for you.
Why do you care, old man?
Oh, you're young, you're scrappy. And I just see you going down the same path I went down. Hiring yourself out. Heck, you got involved with a specter. Well, that's just a road to nowhere.
I mean, I've learned a few skills, but I think I see your point on that at least.
Just make sure that wherever you're going, it's because you want to go there, not because other people want you to go there.
Yeah, I'll think about it. Erda being a surly brat.
Hey, speaking about the Spectre, did he get in touch? What's the deal? Where is he now?
Naturally, he wants that stupid device.
Mm-hmm. Well, is he willing to pay for it?
Now he thinks he should have it because he's a Spectre, and Spectre's got to turn stuff like that over to the Citadel, probably.
Right.
Or maybe he wants to use it himself. Who knows? Either way, I've been thinking about that. And she kind of rolls over because before she's, lying, not back to you, but like not looking at you directly, but she just kind of rolls over to actually look at you this time and maybe sit up even. She's like, what if we managed to make a forgery?
You think we can make a forgery of Prothean tech? That would be fancy.
I mean, we
I guess
got some of those
I'll start
weird
thinking
cubes,
about
right?
it in my head, like how to mechanic it together. I don't know. I could make it sort of look the same. I think I could fake the box.
I mean, if we put...
You think he's the kind of guy who would open the box?
Definitely. So the orb itself would have to be the Prothean bit. But the box could be different. We could just, explain that, hey, we had to take it out of the box when we were fighting the pirates. That's not a lie.
Mm-hmm. I could maybe whip something up, see what I can find on the ship. Let me do that. What are you going to trade it for, though? You're going to give that to him, and then he gives you what exactly?
Transport elsewhere, maybe.
This ship is ours now. We can go wherever we want.
That's if we want to go the same place.
That is true. You could always buy a ship once we get the money.
Could.
And until we get paid, I think we're all going to be together. Unless you're that dead set on not getting paid, you're gonna ditch beforehand.
I don't know. I'm still figuring out the timeline of things.
Yeah. I hope Talora doesn't get too difficult about selling it. Because I do intend to get paid. And Arcus is too. And we have a whole ship full of bloodthirsty pirates, and they also like to get paid.
Yeah.
And not just because they're greedy, but because they gotta eat. People always get stupid.
There's the
Yeah.
other thing.
What?
Shadow Broker's offering 5 million, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that gets whittled down real quick when there's a lot of people involved.
I mean, I don't plan to give all the riffraff on this ship an equal cut.
And that's
You
the
know.
thing about pirates. When you mess with their money, that's when they get stupid.
That is true. Maybe I want to ask around, see if they know how much money it is. And how much, it would take to get them to be happy. Let's say each of us took $1 million and then we split the last one across the crew. That's still a bit of money. If I was a youngin', that'd still make me real happy. I'll let you get to know the crew. I think it's good for you to learn that pirates are just people too.
Yeah, that's the trouble. They're people.
But they're just people. You can talk to them, you can bargain. They have people that they love, things they hope for, running away from. They all want things. They're not, monsters that lurk in the deep of space.
No, they're just people lurking in the deep of space. She's just visibly confused by how this conversation has gone.
I don't know. It worried me a little when you got, when we tried to take the ship.
Oh, that was personal. That was personal.
Right.
I said I didn't like her. I wasn't changing my mind.
Yeah, shame we didn't get to kill her ourselves. She just hopped off the ship. It's a sad way for someone to go.
Erda just shrugs at that.
Nova doesn't seem to miss her, though, so I don't think she was a good owner.
You gonna keep that, Varen?
For now, at least. It's nice. Why, you owner?
No. I'm not good with pets.
It's nice to have companionship. Might want to consider it.
Yeah, but then when you gotta leave quick and you don't have them with you, you gotta go back for them.
I mean, you don't have to.
Well, then what's the point of a pet?
I don't know. Look, I'm going to go see about that orb thing. Why don't you go talk to the crew?
Yeah, all right. And I think before Erda goes talks to the crew, she's going to first talk to Talora and run it past her about making this forgery and trying to pawn that off on the Spectre.
Sounds good.
Smart.
Before you get to Talora, you hear back from your contact, and she says, "Hello, I'm sorry I took so long getting back to you, but I understand you found something of great interest. How can I be of assistance?"
All right. So did she call or they are is it an email?
This is a call.
All right. Well, there's a bunch of decisions to be made, and I really need to know a little bit more about it, and you're the person to ask.
Based on the information you were able to give me, it certainly seems to be an object of great interest. Can you send me any more details? Do you have any kind of data or anything that can supplement what you've already given me?
I sure can. However, I would really not like if this would go past you and me. Not for now.
Dr. Tassus, you know as well as I that any Prothean discovery is to be reported to the Citadel Council immediately and to be taken to the Prothean Research Institute. However, I don't think that is necessary at this moment.
Well, that's what I'm saying, isn't it?
If this really is a weapon of a degree that you are fearful of, then I am apprehensive to let the wider council know about this just yet, shall we say.
Well, not without knowing the possible consequences.
Exactly. I'm glad we share a like mind in this. This is just a call between colleagues, of course.
Yeah. Extended family, academia. And then she's going to send her the other stuff that she got,
Okay. So,
which is a lot,
yeah,
basically.
It takes a while to send sort of the terabytes of data of what you extracted from the Prothean site, but you send it over to your contact, and she seems pretty pleased with from a standpoint of, oh, so much like extra Prothean knowledge. This is, like this sort of like slight nerd out kind of moment of just like, oh boy, Squee, look at all this stuff. But then she kind of like comes back down to earth, pardon the expression, and looks at the sort of specifics of it, and she says to you, it appears that these Protheans were conducting a series of research projects, and it looks like what you find yourself in possession with was a merging of two research projects, one being the actual core of this memory thief entity that you seem to have possession of, and the quantum shielding that is known only to exist within materials on the Citadel and on mass relays. It looks like this might have been the most promising project for them, which is why they decided to protect it with their, well, most powerful technology, it would seem.
So you think it is made from the same, almost the same material, and almost as hard to destroy?
I believe so. Which raises some problems, I suppose. Talora, this could be used for a lot of terrible things. I know that the Batarian hegemony right now is at its most volatile. If something like this was to fall into their hands, I fear for the catastrophic consequences that would follow. And the council right now aren't exactly getting along. There's a real threat out there, Talora. And I don't know if this is the solution to that. But I'm not the one who's possessing it right now. Ultimately, that decision will come down to you. I believe I know of a way that could destroy it. I also believe that I could take it off your hands and do more thorough research on it, if you wanted.
Right, and I'm guessing destroying it will have to do with the mass relay. That's what I am thinking. But I am not the expert.
To get past a mass relay's quantum shielding is almost impossible. But for a device this size, there is a way you could potentially expose its inner core long enough for it to be destroyed. You would have to interface directly with a mass relay's main computer and effectively convince it that this thing is a part that is being used to repair the mass relay. That will effectively trick it into quantum locking the materials that this core is composed of, which will give you a very short amount of time while it is neutralizing its current quantum shielding and re-uploading it to work with the mass relay. That will be a brief moment where it will be vulnerable, if my theories are correct.
Well, be so kind as to send me those instructions just in case.
I can do that.
And where are you located right now? If we do decide that we want to do more research on this.
Are you familiar with the planet of Hagalaz? It's in the Horsehead Nebula System. Sorry, Hourglass Nebula System.
Nope.
Well, that's where you can find me. There's a large research base there where I'm currently spending a lot of my time.
Well, the only small problem we would have is that there's a lot of people who want this thing. They don't really know what it does, but they want it, and they're willing to pay a lot of money for it. And the people I am with very much want that money. So even if I decide I want you to do research, once we get there, they might be angry.
I can provide funds.
All right. Let me take it to the rest of my party.
Of course.
Feel free to dig some more into this enlightening data that I sent you.
Will do. Thank you for trusting me with this, Dr. Toulouse.
Well, thank you for getting back to me so fast.
And with that, the call comes to an end, and Erda appears, looking to talk to you, Talora.
Well, hey, Erda. How are you
I'm
holding up,
half
love?
tempted to spend a story point to say I caught the tail end of that.
Absolutely, if you would like to. Yeah.
Would y'all be all right with that? Awesome.
Okay.
So
Erda, thanks to your infiltration training, you were able to catch good portions of that conversation.
So I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna spend that point. It's spent.
Well, good that I didn't decide to betray y'all.
Yeah.
There's this one Krogan Erda. Oh my gosh, don't get me started.
I was like,
Hey, gossip's one thing. Frickin' committing to betrayal. No, so Erda kind of knocks and is like, Taloras, there's it's a bit of a complication, and I wanted to run a potential solution past you.
all right, I'll have to actually do the same. So this is very good timing.
So that Spectre very much wants that item.
Well, tough
But
cookies.
I don't want to give it to him.
I
Because
really,
he's just
really
going
wanted
to give it to
get
the
on
Citadel.
that ship. He didn't care.
That's my feelings on this exactly. The main thing is, if he hands it over to the Citadel, to the Council specifically, what are they going to do with it? They're just going to use it.
Yes, probably against each other.
Yeah. So then we're going to have, what, mass murders and assassinations with a glowing thing. Not that they
Genocide.
don't already have those going on. Anyway, it's going to be more of a mess than it's worth. 5 million credits is not enough to pay for the mess that thing's going to cause.
You did actually see on the extranet the price has increased a lot. It seems to be going up by the day.
Also really tempting, but still not worth
Yeah.
the absolute chaos it's going to leave. Because, yeah, sure, we could take our money and run, but Ray 2, eventually that chaos will reach wherever we go.
Yeah, that's gonna cause whole empires to fight each other for it. Yes. Yeah. So, what was your plan to deal with him then?
We make a forgery. We still have at least one of those Prothean cube thingies, right? That do the morphing.
Mm-hmm.
So we make one of those, make it into this shape. He didn't get a good look at it. I mean, I sent plenty of footage of the thing, but like, we just make it look like it. It was dark. There was a lot of stuff going on. We can probably pull it off. We put it in a different box. We give him the thing. We package it up nice enough. He's not really going to know to do what he does with it. I didn't send him that information.
Plus, he will probably not want to use it, but hand it over, hopefully.
Hopefully.
And maybe he will just think he can't make it work because he doesn't know how. That's actually valid. I like that plan. And it goes pretty well with... I just got off a call with a colleague who's an expert, even more than I am. and she's willing to provide us with funds if we come and let her study this away from the Citadel, and I trust her that much.
Do we know
Because,
how much funds she's offering?
you know, this is to Laura. She didn't even ask, did she? Good question. I would have to shoot her a message because I did not even ask. I just told her about all these people and how, you know, how much they other people would pay for it, and that the people with me would be pretty mad if there's no money in this. But she also told me that if we were willing to follow some very specific instruction with a very high difficulty, we could try and drop it into the master relay and get it destroyed. So we have these two ways where we still have control over who kind of about what happens with it, is destroy it, or we can take it to my contact, and she has agreed to keep it out of the hands of people who would use it to destroy or, you know, cause wars. She just wants to research, because basically it is made of stuff that is very close to what mass relays in the Citadel are made of, and that is something that can be very, very helpful in the long run.
That's weird, right? That's not normal, right? That's a big deal.
Yeah, that's why that's why you think the Protheans were protecting this. This was like a
Okay.
dual thing of two strong technologies, one protecting the other.
On this small scale, they could probably at least manage something with the shielding, right? That'd be neat.
If you say so, that's not my expertise.
Hmm.
It would
Safest
make the
option is
difference.
destroying it, but that's
Then nobody gets paid.
yeah.
And Miles gonna cry. And bitch
And
and
probably
moan.
shoot us.
And bitch and moan. And bitch and moan. And I don't want to hear it.
So potentially, if we can make a convincing enough forgery, if we can do that once, we could probably do it twice. We could try to get paid twice.
I am not quite sure if I would want to sell a fake. I mean, I have no problem giving him to a Spectre, because they will just think they're too stupid to make it work. But to somebody who wants to spend millions and millions of credits on this, they might be
Right. They'll probably hire experts and
and they're
okay,
gonna hold
okay.
grudges, and no.
Yeah, okay.
Plus, if they think the Citadel has it, they're gonna leave us be. That's
Okay,
also
that's
for our safety.
wise.
Well, I guess I'll have to shoot my contact a message and actually see if she's able to provide enough funds. Said Miles can retire and we can pay off the pirates. I mean, I would also like to make a dent into you know, what my brother owes, but the galaxy first. Sorry, bro. Galaxy first.
So if you'd like, you can send a message just being like, basically saying like, so how much money could we get from this? And the response you get is effectively, how much will satisfy people? What is the minimum amount that will satisfy people? And based on your sort of carousing with the crew, Erda, you know that the general consensus is that they already have what they consider a very good haul from the plundering they've done of the IMC and its assets over the past few months. The cargo bay right now is chocked full of their stuff. You do know that everybody was informed that the captain had a lead on a payday that would be enough for everybody's retirement, and everybody's a bit excited about that. But with her death, there's been a couple of murmurings of just like, is that still a thing? We still get that, or is that gone now? So there's actually some uncertainty into just how much money should be coming their way. And Arcus is remaining quite tight-lipped at the moment.
Well, can I just shoot back and ask if she's willing to match market value?
She says that she can find a way to sort of get something of equivalent value in exchange. It wouldn't necessarily be like straight up credits, but it could be like intel on like massive, dead drops effectively, where such value could be obtained from very easily.
All right. Well, that's something that we can use if we're getting about the same. Maybe not in straight up cash, but in other value.
She does also
No.
say like if you could get that price as low as possible, she would really appreciate it.
Yeah, but that means we can go up to market value if we need to. That market value keeps going up.
Were you about to get paid in the possibility of money? That's real great. Like, let me spend this.
No, the
Let's try
pirates
for-
are gonna get paid in the possibility of money.
We are getting money.
We're getting money. They're getting the intel because they just know she had a lead on something. Well, here's your lead. Go get it.
So with all this revelation, do you think it'd be a good idea for all of you to reconvene again and now
Yeah.
armed with all the information, kind of make a final decision? I will say that Arcus basically informs you that he knows of a place where you could go to sell this stuff on the black market, because if the Shadow Broker's paying a lot, if a lot of people are after this, that means that the chance for a bidding war is pretty good, and you might be able to come out of it with even more on top of what is already being established. So he offers that as an option as well. He knows a place where you could go that's considered a neutral zone, so it wouldn't ideally have you all being attacked immediately on sight or anything.
Yeah, I still think we would be attacked immediately on sight. It's a lot of people fighting and being disappointed if they don't win. I just want to sell it directly to the Shadow Broker. Just set up some sort of drop somewhere quiet where there's no one around. Get it off our hands. No danger.
Works for me.
I think the first step should be to get the Spectre off our butts.
Speaking of, I have a ball. Goonk.
And Miles produces a sort of a fabrication of the core. Miles, I'll let you decide. How good is this, do you think?
Well, let's find out.
All right. Do you want to roll a...
Mechanics roll.
Let's do two rolls. I want you to make a mechanics roll and an archaeology roll.
An archaeology roll?
That's right.
That's a thing?
It is.
Could I have help? Could I help with that?
It seems like Miles is doing this alone, unless Miles you asked.
You could adjust it when I show you. This is what I've done, and you'd be like, "Okay, this is all wrong."
Yeah, but you
don't
can
know
only do it once, right? You can only
you
adjust this once.
You got plenty of time. You can adjust it many times.
And there's an archaeology roll.
All right. So that is a success with your mechanics and success but threat with archaeology. Interesting. So Miles produces what is actually a surprisingly good duplicate of this thing. It is glowing in the right ways. It looks powerful and sinister and expensive. All the things you could possibly want. The only real issue is Miles, based on the materials you had on hand and just trying to make it look perfect as possible, this thing is brittle. It is fragile. As long as it's not looked at too closely and as long as nobody's too rough with it, it should be a very passable forgery.
All right, well, don't touch it. It'll break because this Prothean stuff is all flimsy. And
Okay,
making
so-
something flimsy in reality makes it flimsy.
I want to put a window in the box then, so that they can look in without opening it up.
That is smart. I can do that.
I am academia. Me smart sometimes
Why are you talking like that?
because I can.
Okay. Well, the window thing's a good idea, but you think it looks good?
Do I?
think
Yeah, it looks.
Also consider not many people have really seen this thing, so it doesn't necessarily matter if it's one for one perfect. But even so, it's still very convincing.
Nice.
Like handling it,
open.
you immediately know the difference, but just looking at it, it's like, oh, it's pretty good.
If somebody's seen it on just on footage, yeah, this will definitely look like the real thing.
I'll stick it back in the box. And be like, I'll put a window in that later.
So, two things. Firstly, I think this is probably the first time that Erda has like actually genuinely smiled since Kalor's death. Seeing this coming together and just like, this might actually work. And the second thing, I'd like to establish that Erda has taken to leaving her comms link to Cassis in her quarters as opposed to having it on her person in these meetings.
Yeah, can't trust that. Can't trust that man. All right. All right. So I'm guessing she already let them know about the possibility of
Getting paid
not
3
selling
times.
it to the shadow broker, but bringing it somewhere else and still getting the same amount of money without the risk. Especially if we
Selling it to
can,
your friend.
convince the Spectre he has it. Nobody should think we still have it, so we should be able to get away cleanly.
Because if people think your friend has it, they're going to come for her.
Yeah, probably, but that's not our issue then.
Yeah, people think the Citadel has it. They're just going to go there. And good
Yep.
luck to them.
Very much so. So, she also gave me an option if we do decide we want to destroy it for some reason or threaten to destroy it. We have a way.
Is she still going to pay us if we destroy it?
This is just a way if we get into a very shitty situation and the only way out is pretending we can destroy it. Here's our way. We need a mass relay for that.
No, I don't think we'll need that.
Well, that's the nuclear option. With the way this whole job has been going, I am not excluding any options. I definitely did not come towards this planet to, I don't know, find this craziness and people dying and get inside a war and get attacked by freaking worms.
Yeah, those worms were something.
I mean, none of this was a plane or fighting freaking pirates.
I just thought I was going to be fixing drills.
Yeah. Did not know, I would suddenly have friends from all over the freaking universe and one of them dies on the outside of a freaking ship. By a sword. By a sword, nonetheless. So yeah.
I mean, that's probably how he would have wanted to go.
It's just nothing is, off limits over here. You never know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So
Still, this is a big ship. It's got lots of guns. Erda's friend has got a little ship.
well,
So I'm not too worried.
I'm more worried about other people coming for it if we can't pull this off. Let's focus on the Spectre first and see that we can sell this the right way. Order, what you think? You think you can convince him this is real?
Yeah, I can do it.
You don't even have to talk to him. We could just shove this thing out an airlock and be like, hey, buddy, it's floating in space. Go get it.
You don't
Right.
think it's a little too fragile for that?
Space is inert. The
We could stick it in a crate.
dead drops are good. This could work actually a lot better.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you were looking forward to having some sort of face-to-face go F yourself moment with the guy, but I'd rather not have a Spectre on board.
No, don't worry. I don't want him on board. Yeah, I think this could work.
All right, well, put a window in, stick it in a crate.
See what he wants to do. Don't give him too much. You know that's going to just make him suspicious if you give him everything he wants.
I mean, I'm just going to give him a crate.
No,
gonna put
what
other
I mean
stuff
is
in
if
it.
he's like, no, you're gonna get on my ship, you know, Erda's way more ornery than yes, absolutely, I will get on your ship and give you whatever you want.
If you really hate the guy, I could put some bombs in the crate.
Yeah,
Pulls it
don't
on
do
board.
that.
No, please don't do that because we really still want them to think, you know, they have it.
Hey, but that would make people think. I'm just kidding, by the way, because he would detect the explosives. If it blew up, same. You know, they'd be like, there goes that opportunity.
I mean, I wouldn't mind blowing him up, but let's just, you know,
Yeah, it
see
wouldn't
that we
work.
Can we
can.
maybe not?
Yeah, he would scan it. It wouldn't work.
I hold grudges. He closed that door and did not open it for me. I was standing right there. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Maybe it was something you said.
Maybe it was your face. Can we just stop this now?
Yeah.
Let's get along with it.
This
think
is all
while this
turning out
end
pretty
of-
good.
Conversation was happening. Erda was like gathering up a crate, small-ish,
Yeah.
and some junk to throw out with it. Make it look like a trash drop.
Yeah. Yeah, and as far as when I say, I want to establish that since you know Kalordite is like Telora has been way more acidic when it comes to her remarks. Everything's a little bit more scorching and a little meaner. That's the way she deals with, you know, this.
So to clarify the plan, just to make sure I've got all the facts right, you're gonna send this decoy to Cassis to get him and ideally any council forces off your back. Then you're gonna take the actual Anamnesis core and deliver it to
The horseshoe.
Telora's
Whatever.
contact for cash.
Yeah.
Or promises of cash in
I'm also gonna tell everyone I know, because I'm very very well connected in the
of course.
underworld,
Yes.
that this is what's happened. You can all stop coming after our ship. Cassis has it. Go kill him.
Love it. Love it. Excellent. Well, as we get ready to see how this plan of yours will pan out, that is where we're going to take our break, everybody. Don't go anywhere, and we will see just what the galaxy has in store for this crew. Can't wait. See you very soon. And we're back, everybody. Welcome back to Mass Effect. Right now, our crew has decided on what they're going to do with the ancient Prothean weapon, the Anamnesis Core. They are going to give a forgery to the Spectre Cassis, hopefully to make it seem like if there are problems with it, then it is simply an enigma to be unraveled, and hopefully something that will take the Council or whoever much time before they realize the deception.
It's an enigma wrapped in a box, wrapped in a crate.
With a window.
With a window.
And then they're going to take the real Anamnesis Core and take it to one of Talora's contacts on a distant planet who offered to research it, not make a big fuss about it to the universe, not use it for any horrible means, and in exchange get some money in the process. So, with that in mind, you're still on the ship, on the pirate frigate, heading towards the mass relay. During this time, any last bits of stuff you want to do, feel free to go about and doing that. I will say that Erda, I believe last time you said you were going to look up Miles on the extranet. Was that?
I did.
The case? Okay. So you find a lot of things. Miles, aka Smiley Hawthorne, renowned bounty hunter with a massive bounty on his head. You see that he is actually wanted not just for a couple of minor grievances here and there, like there are those, but the thing that really stands out to you is that Eclipse, the very large mercenary corporation, has a huge bounty on him, supposedly for stealing important assets. And that bounty has only since gone up, it seems, after Jessa pulled some strings with the mercenary company. Miles, is there anything else of particular interest that you think Erda would find if she plows through a sort of internet search of you?
Whatever you can imagine that he might have done, he's done. He's been a mercenary for so long. He's worked for everyone. He's committed atrocities. He's been a hero. Everything. And somehow he lived through everything. I think the thing that stands out, maybe if you go back far enough, is how he got into this thing. Is after he got shot in the face, right? Then he got fired from the Alliance military, and then he became a mercenary with a vengeance. But before that, he was just a perfectly normal soldier. Just someone who had found their family after being an orphan on Earth. And then he got kicked out of that family.
Family touchy.
Bot, kill it.
So that's what you find, Erda. Anything else anyone is doing as this week comes to a close while you're on this ship?
Well, I know I probably want to write a long message to my brother. After we kill the bot that is very clearly there, you know, eye in the sky.
Sorry, I thought this was his the message to the brother.
No. This is the message of nope. No, just basically apologizing and saying that she's trying to fix it.
Got it.
In a lot of more words, you know.
Yes, of course.
Ramble.
Do you think you kind of sort of try your best to explain the situation, or is it more of a I'll explain later, just trust me and I'm sorry kind of a thing?
Well, it's probably like, well, you know how I took this job, you know, to help you pay it off. Well, things kind of went sideways, and the boss lady was being a bitch, and there were pirates involved, and lots of tech, and I'm sorry that, you know, they added a whole bunch of shit to your account that doesn't belong there. I contacted our lawyer cousin to see if we can take care of it, and I am really trying to you know, to get that fixed. Don't panic. I'm working on it. Don't panic.
Got it.
Like, don't do anything stupid. I'll fix this. like the big sister she is. I'm gonna fix this. Don't you panic.
Love it. Okay. Yeah. Anything else from the rest of you while this before this journey comes to an end?
I think the whole time, like adding to the the deception Erda this whole time has been feeding Cass this information of, all right, I have secured the item. They don't know where it is yet. I'm going to have to put it out in airlock, just walking him through the plan slowly, quietly. It's like, I'll, let you know when I drop the package.
Okay. Did you make any contact with his sister during this time?
Probably. I just don't know what would have been discussed besides how much of a bastard Cassis is.
I mean, that's a wonderful starting point to any conversation of get a load of this guy.
But yeah, not telling her any of the plan or anything. Just maybe you were right and maybe we got off on the wrong foot. But if we both live through this, drinks on Omega.
She says, as long as you're buying. She does get into a little bit she asks you how you're feeling after being able to interface with Anamnesis, because she informs you that her mind has not stopped buzzing in a very uncomfortable way, and that the experience in general was not one she would necessarily repeat if she had the option.
I don't know, Jim. How am I feeling?
Why don't you give me a resilience roll? Unfortunately, your Krogan resilience will not apply to this because this is very much of this is purely mental. Let me just set the difficulty here. Boop-a-doop-boop. All right, go ahead. We'll see if you... Actually, Talora, why don't you give me a resilience roll as well, since you have also interfaced with Anamnesis recently.
Oh, come on. There we go.
Boy. Oda, do you think it's a case of you've been struggling this entire time and have only just sort of gotten over it? Or is it a case of the second it is mentioned, you're like, I don't think I have any... kind of...
No, I think it's been I've been doing my best to, like, limp along and pretend like nothing's wrong.
I think what you've been experiencing, Erda, based off of the sort of apparitions that you yourself experienced, is that those emotions from that memory keep resurfacing in a very unnatural way. Like, you're just walking along the corridor and you suddenly feel just a tidal wave of loss and of, your clan's disappointment in you, and then it just immediately goes away again. It's just like, excuse me?
We are speedrunning PTSD.
Yeah, kind of. Talora, your mind is holding strong for now. You've experienced no adverse effects from your exposure to Anamnesis at this point. But Sindris does sort of explain to you, Erda, that she spent maybe way too long in some of those memories, to the point where she didn't actually think she would come out, to the point where she thought she was the person she was, watching, as it were. And she says that she's basically having some trouble sort of discerning reality right now, and it's not a very pleasant feeling, and she's just wondering if anybody else is kind of going through this.
I think Erda will throw her a bone a bit and be like, well, not quite like that, but I don't know, just this feeling like back in that spot, but like not in a visible way, not in a, oh, I look and there's the pillars or whatever. It's just feelings, or feeling like somebody's looking at you funny, and I don't know. Maybe it's different for everybody.
Maybe. I thought this was an opportunity to really prove something, like, when I had access to the memory stored in that thing, I saw things that no Turian has ever seen before. I saw life on the migrant fleet, for crying out loud. I saw inside those walls. I saw those moments, that culture, from a perspective that I'd never had before. It was so surreal, yet sometimes also very nice and calming and warm. I don't know. I thought that with something like this, I could finally be just a bit better than my brother. but that was not the case.
If it's any consolation, maybe you're still a bit better than your brother. I don't think he's been enough to realize that maybe that was a mistake if he were to do the same thing.
The problem, Erda, is that he keeps winning. And I seem to only lose.
I'm sorry, my internet hiccup there.
Oh, she just said that the problem is that her brother keeps winning where she only seems to lose.
And Erda like pauses to, for enough time that like Sindris has been in this game a while. Like she knows there's something about to be said that probably shouldn't. But Erda manages not to, and instead goes, so drinks on Omega.
Drinks on Omega.
You can pick the time and the date if you want.
Yep, sounds good. Just be careful. If you don't have a plan for my brother, he certainly has a plan for you, so just be aware of that. Anyway, good luck. Hopefully I'll see you in the not too distant future.
Yep.
And with that, the call comes to an end.
I was about to say something stupid like, and then you will be subjected to the horror of watching a Krogan dance.
Oh, please say that. That sounds amazing.
So yeah, that was sign off, Clay.
Beautiful. Just like cut to Syndra suddenly just like slowly tilting her head and picturing what that even looks like.
Shepherd shuffle on grand scale.
Just smacking people with your hump as you're dancing on the top. Anyway, by the way, if any of you have any equipment that is damaged at all, the very useful elderly mechanic who is finds himself on this pirate ship is eager and able to quickly patch all that up. I don't know if any of you had anything broken. I know Odie had something broken at some point.
I did.
But we
I
might
had
have...
2 things.
Okay, well that's all fixed now.
Yes, my shuriken had like a minor condition.
Oh,
so.
excellent. Then all that stuff that has any minor or worse damage, go ahead and reduce that to 0. You learn that that guy's name is what was it? Well, he's gone. Fade into obscurity. He never gives you his
Dang
name.
it. I was so happy he lived too, and now just because
Yes.
we can't remember him.
with a raise too, and the air is so much better on this ship now.
I know.
Oh,
Something about the scrubbers really got improved. Cool. So with that, oh, his name's Otto. There it is. His name's Otto.
Otto's a nice name.
He drives a bus, man.
I will also say that, Erda, during your various extranet activities, you just get pummeled by ads. One that is join Cerberus, and another that is displaced. Sanctuary can be found on Horizon, accepting human refugees today. And damn, there's a lot of those being just spewed out everywhere. It's like, I'm not even human. Recognize that extranet. So, as your journey comes to an end, or at least this leg of the journey, as your ship finally reaches the mass relay, having burned through a hell of a lot of fuel, getting through FTL to come here, what is the first destination? Where do you go from here?
Are we gonna dump out the box before or after?
Before, yeah.
All right, then I'm standing at the airlock with the box. You wanna attach a note or something?
Nah, he'll know where to pick it up.
Okie doke. And I'll...
Because I'm setting him all right, trash drop, package inside, and
Yeah, I assume
it
that
goes.
Erda, he gave you some like minor beacons, so you can kind of just like slap one on the side of the box and just.
Yep.
Well, I
Standard.
worked hard on that thing. I hope he appreciates it.
Oh, and Erda made sure to make it very clear that thing got fragile. Not sure why.
Okay, why don't you make a deception roll for me there? Let me double check actually what Cassis has for his perception. See if he can see through this at all. If he does or not, we'll never. We might not ever know. Sorry, one sec. Oh dear. Okay.
So that's a confusing roll.
It is also not entirely correct because I'm afraid that does not reflect his actual stats. So give me one moment. All right. So here are his actual stats. So if you would like to roll that again and hope for a less confusing roll.
Would we like to use a story point for this?
Now. Oh yeah.
Roll.
Would you like to story point it?
Sure.
Okay, so
I mean, this is kind of important.
All right, go ahead.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, incredible! That's a success and an advantage. Yeah. So basically, when you
Can
contact
the
him,
advantage be that we gain some time?
yeah, absolutely. Basically, I imagine like you contact him, and he's like, "Wait, why aren't you meeting up with me?" And yeah, well, he says that. He asked that of you.
I told you it'd be too risky to try and drop with it. I'll catch up with you later.
I just want to know when I'm gonna get my Krogan back, but I trust you can keep yourself alive long enough.
Yeah. I'll give you a call when I'm not in such dangerous company.
All right.
Probably.
Well, good work, Oda. It was a big risk throwing you in there, but you did a very good job. Well,
I told you I'd do it, and I did it.
admittedly, things got very messy and almost went terribly, but hey, you made it in the end, which is all that matters at the end of the day.
Results. That's
right.
me.
Now you get paid in medals.
So yeah, contact me when you're able to.
Will do.
And with that, the decoy has been left behind. Cassis is going to pick it up.
Just Krogan kind of walks away on her own 2 feet for a bit, finds the wall, just slides down, and is like,
Just bracing for impact in case anybody shoots the ship. But no, yeah, everything seems good, and you make it to the mass relay.
I checked to make sure we still have the real one,
You do indeed.
because I am suspicious after a lifetime of backstabbery.
Very fair. Yeah, you do kind of quickly smash it against the wall, and the wall gets dented. You're like, okay.
I
it's
would
good.
never smash a super weapon against the wall.
I'm sorry. You do the adequate twist to know that it won't just break in your hands like the forgery would, and you determine that it is indeed genuine. All right. So, are we heading to the Hourglass Nebula?
Yep.
Okay.
Meanwhile, I'll send all the messages like, "Hey, that thing you wanted, millions of things. We had it. We don't have it anymore, so you can stop coming after us. We gave it to Cassis, the Spectre, works for the Council, last seen in this exact coordinate. Good luck. I hope one of you gets him before he gets to the Council."
I love it. Why don't you also make a deception check, Miles?
I can do that.
To see how this goes.
Deception.
And I'll use a story point. Why the hell not? It's time I started using some story points around this part.
A story point to make sure. Oh, then I will too, I guess.
All right. Double story point. Go ahead and spend that and roll.
Okay. Because I want them to believe me.
Of course. Okay. Excellent. This is a success, but a lot of threat. I love this.
and I
Ah, but
propose
it's
what the
not
threat
for us,
is.
it's threat for him. Fuck you, Cassis. You going down.
Yes,
Should I
what's the
propose
threat?
the threat?
Yes, please.
So, yes, this works. It works too well because, I mean, specters have their ear on the underworld too.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So basically, Cassis immediately gets that this was sent out as soon as he received your package.
More or less, whenever he sent it is whenever Cassis gets it, I guess.
Sounds good.
I send this message after we get through the relay.
Sounds good. Love it. All right. So, your pirate group gets to the relay, and they are shot through space directly to the Hourglass Nebula. Of course, at this point, Arcus has effectively convinced the crew, hey, we go to this one place, this bunch do a thing, we all get a bunch of money. Then we can go, like, hawk all this stuff. We'll be living like sovereigns. It would be amazing. And, the pirates are very much just like, yep, sounds good. There's not a crazy tyrant threatening us with a sword anymore, so that sounds good by us.
This tyrant uses a gun to threaten us, so much better. More civilized, more technologically advanced.
Miles, you can see that Nova the Varen clearly gets a little bit sheepish when going through a mass relay. Isn't quite used to it or doesn't quite understand it. So she kind of just curls up a little bit towards you while
I'll hug the Varen and be like, that's okay. This is the scariest thing.
And you blue shift across the galaxy, and you arrive in the Hourglass Nebula. And you do need to do a bit of restocking with the fuel because you've been burning a lot of it getting back from the mining base back to the interconnected galaxy once again. So you quickly restock, and then you head to the system that Talora's contact mentioned, which is Hagalaz. Which is a hard
Don't
word
find
for
a
me to
side
say.
quest on the way.
Anomaly detected. No, we're gonna keep on going. So yes, Hagalaz, when you arrive, it is an unfortunate memory of Varkon, the planet you just left, in that there are terrible thunderstorms, lightning that just follows the horizon as the seas and the atmosphere boils the second the sunlight touches it, and it freezes the second it is encased in shadow. And Talora, you are given the coordinates of where you can make the drop-off happen. And to get there, unfortunately, a ship this big is going to be slightly destroyed in the atmosphere, so you're going to have to take a more stable, smaller personal shuttle down there, which the ship has.
Are we really gonna die in a lightning storm after surviving the first one barely?
It's like the last time we were in a shuttle in a lightning storm.
What's that called in a story? Book ending? Erda actually says that.
Dolores probably gonna look at Erda like, yeah, actually, yeah. Great. Well, I guess let's do this.
We should put that
know.
thing in some lightning-proof box, like even more than this, because if this thing gets overcharged, no way. So I'll go prep something to make absolutely sure that if lightning hits our shuttle and somehow it gets redirected onto the thing, nothing happens.
Got it. All right, make a mechanics roll to try and do that final thing. Is there anybody you're going to take with you? Any pirates or anybody else, or is it just the three of you who are going to get going?
Well, we don't really want the pirates to know who our contact is.
Yeah, Arcus
Or
can't
where they're
go 'cause
going.
he's the captain.
And we don't trust any of the other
Nobody else,
pirates.
so.
Yeah, I think we'll ask them. Does anybody want to go down to the lightning planet?
What were the
might die.
Quarians doing the whole time, by the way? I completely forgot about the Quarians.
They've been sick in the med bay because, if you recall, they both got
Oh,
horribly hurt through various means. So they've been recovering from
And
a
the
lot of
punctures in their suits,
Yeah,
yes.
a lot of infection, a lot of sickness. They've been a little bit out of it, and of course, they're still mourning the loss of one of their own.
Yeah.
They are effectively just, waiting for a time where they can be dropped off somewhere, which, with the payday coming in, should be fairly soon, they hope.
Okay, so we'll ask them. Hey, I know you two don't really feel cool about being a pirate. You want to wait on the surface in whatever research station this is?
I'm actually going to roll their resilience to see how they feel. If they feel super bad, they'll probably be like, but if they manage to overcome it, we'll see. So let's see. Well, this is for Sani. Just one threat, okay. And for Viaz, he's being pretty good. So Sani still has a bit of a cough, bit of a sneeze. Gets a little bit gross because you can see some spittle appear on the inside of her visor, and she's just like, "Oh, this is so embarrassing."
Wow, that is the worst.
She says, "It's okay, we have things for this," and she presses something and it slowly cleans the inside of her visor. But yeah, she's very snotty, very congested right now. Viaz fortunately seems to make a very good recovery. You do notice that his hands are shaking a lot, and it's not entirely clear if this is just a thing VS has, or if he's still experiencing some trauma from the events that he went through with anamnesis going through his brain. But his personality-wise, he seems fine.
He's also been in sickbay lying next to a corpse, which I'm guessing is still where we're storing Kalor.
I like to think they put that and the other corpses somewhere not where not in a where it should be a sterilized environment.
A nice pile. No. We will treat them all with the respect that they deserve.
Yeah.
So.
His unfortunately, Kalor's body is next to like a giant Krogan, and several other pilot members somewhere.
That poor guy.
So, with that, okay, you're going to take the Quarian siblings with you. Sounds great. I almost asked, are you going to take Otto with you? Just like, why would you?
I mean, if he wants to go, we won't be opposed, but like...
Honestly, here's a mechanic. We could say that the threat that you generated there, Miles, is that you need something to hold this damn thing together, this contraption you put on. So if you'd like Otto to offer services to do that for you, he certainly can. Or if you'd like to handle it yourself, that's also an option.
We will take Private Reginald Hurt. Reg Hurt? Red shirt.
Got it. Okay, I understand now.
There
His
you
shirt
go.
is actually orange, have you know.
No respect for the class.
All right, so the three of you, the Quarian siblings, and this elderly human mechanic are now all packed into this shuttle that has been a little bit modified, got some cool spikes on the side, some sort of pirate insignias sprayed on as well, and the inside
Really?
has been...
Spikes in a lightning storm.
It's serviceable. Not the nicest shuttle you've ever stepped into, but seems solid enough. And Miles, you make the necessary alterations to make sure it won't just break up on impact. Hopefully, lightning will not strike twice. And yeah, you all set out. Who is flying?
I think I am.
Cool. All right, Miles. In that case, go ahead
My
and
piloting.
make
My
a...
piloting is 2, which means I have 2 yellow die. Can anyone beat that? No?
All right. I'm going to spend another story point on you, Ka-chow, to make this a bit harder. And you're going to get
I
2
am
setback
not.
dice due to the due to just the terrain being a bit rough. Terrain?
I look forward to
Atmosphere.
crashing. This is how the story ends. Just
Here we go. I will actually great! Incredible.
Hey.
Miles, would you like to describe this beautiful flight of yours?
I think I'm just like full on concentration, like not doing that again. Just some very impressive like barrel rolls and
Oh,
stuff,
incredible.
avoiding all the lightning.
Love it. Love it. Yeah, Miles, you do a very good job.
Krogan in the background, just hunkered down, just waiting.
All right, I think we passed through the worst of it. I
Yes.
cannot believe this bucket managed to. Oh. Ooh, and I'll just like relax my grip on the steering wheel or whatever it is that I'm using to fly.
Yeah, love it. You all find yourselves, as you see kind of like coming on the screen, there is a massive ship that kind of skirts just above the clouds on this planet, and it is moving along with these kind of like massive, almost sail-like appendages at the very end, and it is a behemoth of a vessel. And
The heck is that?
there's no particular place where it looks like there's a good spot to land, but there's a lot of spots where it's like, we could, I guess.
Turn to Laura. Is this your friend?
Can we hail them
Are
and
they like a
ask for
warlord?
directions to where to land?
Yes, absolutely. Your hail isn't immediately responded to Laura. It's there's a moment where it's just like, oh, strange. You try again. You check if there's any interface. You know that lightning can sometimes be a problem with that kind of thing. So you try and clean up the signal as best you can. Still no immediate response. It takes a good couple of minutes before you hear back from your colleague, and she says to you, things have gotten complicated very quickly. If you're here, come down onto the vessel as quick as you can. And she says, I'll direct you with some lights on the exterior. And Miles, you see various lights on the back of this large ship appear.
All right. Head on over for that ASAP. There's something going on down there. I'm guessing my colleague needs some help.
I guess they didn't buy the message. Must be some shadow broker agents or something.
And
All lines of
Urda.
think.
you can tell that something strange is happening with the comms. And you're not entirely sure what, but they're acting a little unusually.
Hold off on that. She's gonna say there's something going on with the signal. And if I were trying to lure someone into a trap, that looks like some pretty nice bait. Only lit spot on a ship in a storm while something funky's going on with the comms.
If you'd like to, you can kind of do a diagnostic on the comms and see if you get anything
I
from
would
that.
like to.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
That computers.
Yes. A neutral roll. Beautiful. Yeah, it's hard for you to really pin down. There's just something going on, and you try and sort of like trace the sort of what the source of this strange feedback is, and you can't seem to get anything. It is enigmatic to you. It doesn't feel like a well, I would say that. Yeah, you just aren't really sure what the deal is.
Something's wrong here. But there's like no other place to land, is there?
No, as far as you can tell, it's just clouds everywhere, and this
Well,
ship.
Would I be able to use Project A to figure out what's going on? I don't know if I can, how
You
far I
can't-
can send
don't-
it.
You can't reach it you can't reach into the box at least because that thing is really closed.
Well, do I need to touch it to use it? Because we're still connected.
As long as you're in close proximity, you still have access to Anamnesis's functions. So you could definitely send it out. Just the question is, where do you send it? You can send it at the ship if you wanted to, but there's no real goal or objective there unless you gave the order of, get me all the information you can find there, but that's very dangerous.
Well, can I send it to where the lights are to see, you know, if there's like an ambush or something?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like the landing area and right behind it to make sure there's not like, you know, I don't know, 20 Krogans standing there, you know, with big guns.
And a stock, freaking ship laser.
Yes.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah, you can send out. Well, you can kind of summon forth the bright holographic entity that is Anamnesis, and as soon as he like appears, or rather, it appears in the cockpit, you can see Otto just goes, "What the hell is that thing?" Kind of levels his wrench at it. Since he has never once seen this thing, it seems a little bit spooked. And then Anamnesis just slowly presses itself through the side of the shuttle and starts blinking its way towards the landing zone. And after a little while, it kind of stands there, blinks around, sort of looks at the environment, and returns to you after a little bit. And any data that it returns to you is a bit spottier than you're used to because there's no actual tangible memories it was using here. It was effectively just its own limited senses. So you get back this very weird, like almost as though you're seeing everything through infrared kind of mode, where it's like, oh, this is weird. But you see nothing of any note, really. No people down there, no suspicious looking explosives or devices or anything like that. You do see that there was a series of doors that led further within the base itself, but that's about it.
An infinite hallway of doors? Now we're playing RPGs.
Yeah, so I'm going to pass that information on and say, well, landing seems to be safe, but what comes after, we'll have to see. We'll have to be very
Wish your
careful.
colleague would have explained to us what the heck was going on.
I mean, this big break and how long it took her to answer is seriously suspicious. So
We could just go back.
yeah, we could, but then what are we going to do?
We call the shadow broker. Sell it to him.
And if she's in trouble, I would like to check on her.
I mean, I don't know her from Adam, but
Well, we got to
What
go
do you
somewhere.
think? You want to go down here? The possible danger on this massive ship, probably crawling with goons. You want to go back up and talk to the shadow broker?
Depending on how the storm's going, I don't know that we have as much of a choice.
And we're
Considering
already
it
too
was
close
rough.
anyway. If we try to leave and they don't want us to, they'll just shoot us out of the sky.
Yeah.
I think we don't have much of a choice.
I don't see any specific weapons, but like that doesn't mean they're not there.
Yeah, gotta be, right? Who builds a ship this big without guns?
Or smaller, faster guns, kind of scanning the area, looking for maybe like fighters
Maybe
or
it launches
something.
fighters. It doesn't matter. Point is, this thing has got to have the power to stop us. So I'm just gonna land it, and I do.
Okay, yeah, you land on the back of the ship, and as you do, you see a bunch of these sort of electronic panels, something carving their way out of sides of the ship. They look like they are energy collectors of some sort, or maybe a static vent of some kind. They startle you a little bit, but they don't seem to be weapons. They just seem to be a function of the ship. Just very, very loud and very dangerous if you got too close to them, like guillotines almost. But you are, of course, at a safe distance. You find yourself on a flat part of the ship and find some doors heading inside as well. If you disembark your shuttle, there's hell of a lot of wind. It's extremely loud, thunderously loud outside. But not enough to kind of like pick you up and take you away or anything like that. You're all firmly attached to this place. It seems like it has some sort of protection around it at the very least.
All right, guns out. Keep trying to reach your friend, and then we advance.
And Erda's gonna try and scan for like life forms.
Okay. Yeah. You managed to discover that there is almost nothing nearby except for those of you in, at least in immediate range. There's your companions, of course, and then you get two other life.
Oh, I'll tell the old guy to stay on the ship.
He's like, I wasn't offering to leave. Ah!
The Quarians are coming with us, right?
They're kind of a little bit reticent right now. They don't know if they need to like be serving as getaway drivers or if they need to just follow you right now. They're a bit unsure, so they'll follow your command.
I think you should come with us. If things go well, this is where you want to be. Things go really badly, I'd rather have you with us.
You can see VS kind of turns to Sani and he says, "Come on, sister, it'll be fun." And there's just like a lightning strike that happens immediately afterwards. And she says, "I think I've had enough fun for one lifetime, but fine, let's go." And they both get out and they start following you. And Otto's just like, I'll keep the fort held over here on the nice safe shuttle." And then like a piece of the modification you were making like cracks a little bit. He's like, "Oh no," and tries to keep it in one piece. Yeah, sorry, Erda, you find the life forms of your allies, and then the only other things in the immediate area are two other life forms. Fairly close.
Can I determine their general shape?
Not really. Sort of just general humanoid-ish.
Okay.
It's not a thresher maw. Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Oh, what a twist.
I guess shape was the wrong word. Just size was the more thing.
They seem to be people-sized.
Okay.
Whether that's a Krogan people or a
human
Volus people,
is...
hard to say.
Erda's gonna pass that along, and what do you
Only
think?
2 people?
That sounds suspect.
So Geth?
Geth aren't life forms in this kind of scan.
I'll check with the Quarians if they can have some way of detecting Geth.
Kind of look at each other. Sani sort of pulls up her Omni tool and starts like scanning for what is effectively the unique sort of frequencies and signatures that they are used to with Geth. And she does a quick scan and she says, "I swear, if there are Geth here, I'm going to lose it." And looking at the results, she says, "No, nothing."
Well, that's good. Maybe just some droids and then. All right, we press on.
Okay. You head over to the nearest doors that you can see. They seem to be the only thing that really lead anywhere. And when you open them up, you see that they lead to a fairly modest docking bay of some kind. You can see that there's a single shuttle here, fairly sizable shuttle, a little bigger than the one you arrived on. And you see that its back is open. There's a lot of crates and a lot of tech sort of strewn about the place. And when you arrive, you see a Drell who is very sort of furiously trying to move stuff around and get stuff shoved into that shuttle. He's like,
Do I recognize this Drell?
You do not recognize this Drell, no.
Good.
This is not the Drell that owes you a favor from the very first 5 minutes of this game. Or maybe they are. Maybe you're not good with faces, and they might just be.
I sure hope it's not.
You just won't mention it, and hopefully they won't either.
Yep.
We'll shout out to him. Hey there.
He jumps and like pulls a pistol out immediately and aims it towards all of you. Miles, you can immediately
Drop
recognize
that right now.
this guy does not have a whole lot of sort of military acumen. And he's like,
Oh, I can use my renegade action.
oh hell yes. What does that entail?
Do it.
Right, this is what it's for. Let's see. Once per session, you can spend a story point. Cool. And
Plenty of
it's you're nothing. You can make an opposed coercion leadership versus cool check against an NPC. This guy with a single success, you learn their fear. 2 successes, you subdue them. 3, he gets damaged strain wise because he's so scared.
Got it. All right, so in that case, this won't be against anything. So just roll your coercion or your leadership, your choice, and spend that story point as you do what is effectively a renegade interrupt right now. Love it. Let's see how that goes.
I'm not going to shoot him just to be like, that's the renegade interrupt, but I'm not planning on doing that. I'm just going to threaten him. What was I rolling? Coercion.
Okay, yes.
Oh shit! Does this man faint from fear?
I'll say that Miles, in this situation, you can decide exactly how this goes.
That sounds good to me.
What follows here? What does everybody see?
I think he's just like, he flails, tosses the gun into the air, and then just passes out.
He like freaks out and like bangs into like a massive crate next to him, like hits his head, falls to the ground. You see his weapon like breaks and hits the ground. Just a comedy of errors for this poor Drell. And he like collapses on the ground and just
I look at Laura. Magic.
That was
Is this your friend?
unexpected.
Walk over and nudge him with my boot.
he like slowly stirs a little bit. He's like, what the? Wait, you're not Cerberus.
Yeah, no, that's not my name.
Cerberus, like those weirdos with the ads.
Yeah, like those weirdos with a lot of heavy weaponry coming our way right now. Who are you people? What are you doing here?
We got a delivery. You got a boss here or something?
Yeah, I do. Give me one moment, will you? And he like slowly goes to his Omni tool, just making sure that you're not gonna shoot him for it or anything like that. And he says, "Hey, were you expecting company that wasn't trying to kill us and has something to deliver?" And he hears back on his Omni tool. Yes, sorry, Farron, I didn't get a chance to mention it to you. They have something important. Can you take it off their hands for me, please? And he says, yeah, all right, can do. Not like we're in the middle of anything else right now. And he closes off his Omni tool and he says, well, give me what you've got, I suppose.
Nope.
What are these Cerberus guys about? And Ernest like
Cerberus?
pulling up frickin' Omni tool and like trying to do a wider scan maybe of the place if she can.
Yeah, you can make another computers check if you like. It is going to be very difficult because the storms and everything. But
Yeah.
feel free to. Sorry, what was who was saying something just then?
I will tell him, nope. I will just give this straight to my colleague. You
I need to get
are
paid.
not, nope. No goons, no lackeys, ain't gonna happen.
Pulls up his Omni tool
I mean,
again, beeps it. Yeah, they're not giving it to me. They're only going to give it to you. So you better get in here as soon as you can. Also, hurry up, maybe. We don't have much time. And he hangs up again. He kind of looks at the rest of you and he says, well, we have
She
nothing.
didn't tell you. If she didn't tell you we were coming, she's sure as heck didn't tell you what she was going to pay us for this thing.
Yeah,
So
that's
I don't expect.
a lot of things she doesn't tell me.
You should find a different boss.
Listen, it would be appealing.
You know, there's a
certainly.
pirate ship up there if you want to be a pirate.
I don't. Thanks for the offer, though. I really need to get all this stuff squared away, so I think that's all we need to talk about right now. You can just sit here and wait, I guess.
I'm just gonna sit here. I'll give him a hand loading the thing.
He kind of like looks a second like, oh, I appreciate it. Be careful with that. It's very sensitive. And just starts moving this stuff into the shuttle. And Miles, you can see like this is an absurd amount of tech to try and shove into, like, it's computers, it's software systems, all sorts of stuff that is just being shoved into this shuttle, and far more than is would be recommended for a shuttle of this size.
This is a lot of fancy tech. What sort of ship is this?
He kind of looks at you and he says, I don't know how to explain that. It's just it's a kind of ship that has a lot of vital equipment, and we have to make some very big choices on what is the most vital.
Okay.
So while those two are doing that, what are Erda and Taro doing?
Making a computer's check.
Yes, go ahead and do that.
Possibly hacking into the actual ship's stuff to like see if I can pull up things and see who's where and in what numbers.
Sounds good. Go ahead and do that. Okay, that is a failure and a threat. So basically, as soon as you try to access any of these ship systems, Erda, your usual sort of method of hacking is immediately just shunted. The security protocols in this place are unlike anything you've ever seen, and you've served with a Spectre. It is mind-blowing, it is absurd, it is awe-inspiring.
How did you describe this ship again? Big with kind of sail-like appendages?
At the very front, basically big sort of sail-like thing moving towards the storm. Or with the storm, rather.
Is it dark? Is it shiny? Is it...
It's, you know, it's sort of like just this metallic kind of, you know, dull metallic kind of color. And yeah. I think for the threat, effectively, we're just going to say you take a little bit of strain from that, Erda, because it is such a sudden feedback that you receive that it kind of takes a little bit out of you for a second. And Taro, are you doing anything other than just waiting for your friend to show up?
Well, she's probably gonna try and talk to. Do we have his name? Did we ever get his name? The Drell?
The Drell, he said his name was, you heard his name is Farron.
Well, she's going to be like, Farron, so where's this shuttle going to take all this stuff?
He says, I don't know yet. All I know right now is that we need to get this stuff out of here right now.
All right, so is this the more important stuff, or is this the stuff you don't care about?
He says, the stuff I'm putting in the shuttle, this is the stuff that is vital.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you could take it to the pirate ship and be rich.
I don't want to go to your pirate ship. No offense. I don't know you. You know. It's just...
What could actually be dangerous enough to threaten this size of a ship? That you have to get the tech off.
Do you people not know who Cerberus is?
We've been away for a bit.
Okay. Well, they're like this really relentless human interests group, we could say. And that's being nice to them.
Terrorist organization.
Bingo! This guy knows. Yeah, they're really bad news, and they are coming here to see everything you see here. They're here to take all of it. So we need to get out of here.
Are they the kind of group with the resources to trawl this sea if we were to drop some of this in it?
He kind of looks at you and he says, they'll get anything they want to get their hands on. They are ruthless, and they have more money than I've ever seen. And trust me, I've seen a lot of financial records in my time.
Well, not all of this is going to fit on this about the shuttle, but we do have a shuttle.
Yeah, how about we take some of this stuff off your hands?
I don't like the way you just said that, I'm afraid. But it depends.
Just trying to be helpful.
I can't make any decisions like that. We're going to just have to wait. And he goes back to shoving tech inside. At this point, Talora, you can see that emerging through the doors is an Asari friend of yours, your colleague, indeed. It's been a long time since you've seen her. She's changed a lot, and maybe you have as well. But she looks out of breath. She's sort of like trawling a lot of technology on this little sort of like anti-grav carrier with her. And she says, well, Farron, I think that's the last of it. That's all we're going to do. And she kind of like looks up and sees you, Taro, and she says, oh, hello. And she kind of runs up to you and says, you must forgive me for the state of affairs of things. We have some unexpected guests right now. If I had known this was going to take place, I never would have suggested we do this. So my apologies.
All right. So how long do we have? And what's going to happen? What's the plan?
She kind of looks back to a little drone that you see floating along, and she says, Glyph, what's the status on the adversaries? And this little drone comes up to the two of you, and he says, "The Cerberus carrier is now in orbit and sending out fighters to this location. We have
Dang it.
maybe 5 minutes before they make contact."
All right, pay us. We'll get out of your hair.
And yeah, she looks to you and she says, "Gladly." And she reaches for a little sort of data stick and she holds it out and she says, "Here's the location of a lot of very valuable drops that you can have access to. All of it unmarked, all of it untraceable, and will definitely be worth whatever this thing is." She sort of motions to the little box of what you have.
How do we know you're not full of shit?
Same could be said for me, but we'll just have to trust each other because right now we don't have much time.
Right. So how are we going to get away from here if the fighters are incoming?
They shouldn't take any interest in you. It's me. Well, it's not me. It's this place they're after. Though I would advise trying to take a more circuitous route if you can to try and avoid the worst of it.
So how are you going to keep what I give you safe?
It's her problem.
From them.
Now. I'm just gonna go because Cerberus.
Miles starts leaving. She looks
With
at
the data
you.
stick, like, I got this.
She looks at you, Taroa, as you kind of like hand her this device, and I imagine you're like both holding it at the same time right now. You're not quite giving it up, and she looks at you and she says, "Trust me, I have no intention of surrendering myself or anything to them." And she looks to the side for a second and she says, "In fact, that gives me an idea. Glyph, can you give me a remote access of the ship systems?" And the little drone says, "I can, Shadow Broker." And she kind of looks for a second like, "Well, very good. Reroute it to my Omni tool." And the little glyph says, "Affirmative. Doing so now." And with that, she's holding the box and she looks back at you again, Taroa, and she says, "So,
Erda is dutifully pretending she did not hear that.
Well,
Yeah, I had like a little step, like what?
the hint should have said that.
Okay, let's just pretend we didn't hear that. Keep going.
And Laura, like, you did tell us that only part of the payment was going to be in this. I would appreciate if our part would actually be accessible without having to trek around the known universe.
Taroa, right now I'm willing to do anything that you think is fair and reasonable, and I want you to believe that I will make sure there is no unequal transaction happening here. I'm just asking
Very
if you
good.
to trust me."
I am expecting you to keep this safe, and this, we talk later.
She says, "Yes, I imagine so." And then suddenly you feel as the ship is assailed with some kind of attack. And Miles, as you're on your way out, you can see that there are fighters that zoom past and appear to be targeting various systems on this ship.
Dang it.
All right,
I'll look back to see which of my companions has chosen to follow me and be alive.
Yeah. And Tolara's going to be like, well, be safe and send me a message once you're safe.
Likewise. Best of luck.
And she's going to go after Miles. Let's get out of here.
And just as you're leaving, you over here say, "Farron, if they want this ship so badly, we're going to give it to them." So,
I think Erda actually sticks around to help them move some of this stuff.
yeah, that's kind of
And
you.
she's like, I think she's like, "I'll catch up, maybe," to Miles and to Laura.
Okay.
Kid, we don't have time to wait. Are you
Considering
coming with us or are you going with her?
I said I'd catch up. You want go on ahead.
All right. Good luck.
She's considering a change in career.
Love it. Okay, so Miles, Talora, and the Quarians, who are following you as well, you are all heading back to the shuttle, is that correct? Okay, you quickly kind of head outside. You can see the fighters moving around. In the distance, you can see the massive cruiser looming, getting closer and closer to you, where all these fighters appear to be originating from. And you see it has some very nasty-looking cannons on it as well. But they aren't opening fire at the moment. It looks like they do indeed want to take the ship and just, take out its, defensive systems rather than actually obliterate it right now. So that's nice. While you're heading out there, you do notice that there's a little glint of something, and for a second you think it's lightning, and then you see it get closer at astounding speed, and you can see a ship, a very sleek ship, a ship that you've seen before, one that refused to give you passage earlier, Toroa, and you both recognize the Spectre ship hoving into view. And as it flies closer, you can see that its weapons are primed, and it fires a salvo of shots towards your shuttle.
No.
That's my way off of this thing.
And yeah, what do both of you do as you see kind of like basically it's moving down a line, getting ready to annihilate your shuttle? How are you both reacting?
I don't have a gun that could reach a ship. I can't just assault rifle this thing down. Is there like
probably.
some surface-to-air defense I can pull?
Too bad I'm too far away from the cube. I would so send Project A after him.
Yes. Miles, if you'd like, you can make a perception check, see if there's anything nearby you could potentially use as a defense against this. Yeah. Ooh.
While he does that, she's probably going to hit her comm to order and says, "Hey, your Spectre friend incoming, about to destroy our shuttle.
Ah!
All right.
Like, your friends are assholes."
Miles, you look desperately around for any kind of anti-air defenses. You find one that was immediately destroyed by the Cerberus fighters, so that really sucks. But you do see these sort of these guillotine-like panels of like static charging electricity, whatever they are. You feel like, if you shoot those, big electricity boom, that's better than nothing against a ship.
Right, but we also have to walk through those.
You don't have to walk through them. They are basically close, but not close
they're
enough to
to
your
the
shuttle to be a
side?
threat.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I have to wait for them anyway, so I'll try to Hail Mary, time it right.
Love it. Give me a weapons attack. Let's see how that goes.
This would be the time to use a story point, but I'm not gonna.
Okay.
I'm a rebel.
Renegade.
So aim.
Aiming.
And
Got
then
it.
shoot.
Let me add a blue.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. Oh
There
my
we
go.
goodness. That is such a good shot. That's so
Yes!
much success at advantage. Okay. You fire a shot at these panels just like as they are like slicing their way out of the ship. And as you shoot them, basically I imagine like you shoot them as they're like retracting, so you hit one, then the other, then another, then another, and just send like this cascade of electricity that just shoots through the area, and it immediately arcs straight to the ship, and you see it struck by that lightning. You see its kinetic barriers immediately get maybe completely fried. It's not entirely obvious, but severely hampered from that attempt.
Yeah. All right, that should keep him busy for a bit.
Incredible.
Let's get out of here while the getting's good.
And Talora, what were you doing while Miles was aiming that shot?
Yeah, sending the message to Erda, desperately trying to reach Project A, even though she knows it's too far away,
Yeah.
and backing up towards the door a little so that whatever Miles is doing, she's not in the way.
There's also, fighters strafing around, like shooting parts of the ship as well, so it's a bit dangerous out there. Cool. So Miles, are you going to make a run for the ship? Or the shuttle, I
Yes.
should say. Excellent. Give me an athletics roll. And we'll see how it goes. It's going to give you a setback because of strafing fighters. Always a problem.
Sure.
And a story point. Why not? Oh, too late. I wasn't quick enough. All right, that is success with a threat. Love it. So Miles, you sprint fast enough that you make it to the shuttle, and you see Otto is there, just like, what the hell is going on out there? And as you get
Cerberus.
there, you can
And I'll
see.
immediately hop into the pilot seat and get things ready to go.
Well, I was going to say, your threat at this moment is the second your foot steps into the shuttle, you can see that Cassis's ship has perfectly lined up, and his cannons are moments away from firing.
Okay, I'll turn to shoot back, and hopefully I can get him first.
Okay, sounds great.
That's-
You're going to shoot at his ship. Let me just pull something out onto Roll20 real quick. Boop. Once I find what I'm looking for, there we go. Now I need to make a quick alteration because first I need to make this a bit smaller because I think your static attack easily took out a good portion of those kinetic barriers on that ship. So yes, if you'd like to make an attack, it is in long range right now. So this
That
would
is a very pretty ship. I really like that.
be a difficulty of 3 to hit this. Any other factors I'm missing? Nope, that should be it. So
All right, I'm not too good at gunnery, but here we go.
gunnery. Sorry, what weapon is this?
That's the ship gun, right? I'm firing the shuttle.
Well, you would have to lift the shuttle up and move it around to get to them.
I figure that there's a gun underneath that you can move and shoot with.
Okay, sounds good. Let's say there's that. So you climb in there and fire a shot, and that's a hit. Well done. I don't know what the stats for that kind of gun will be. Let's just call it 10 damage. So we'll say that you did 11 damage to this thing with that shot. And it kind of reflects off what remains of the kinetic barriers, and you can see that in an immediate response, the ship fires a torpedo, and the torpedo flies directly into the shuttle. Miles, you and Otto, I suppose, have a very scary torpedo coming your way. Let me just double check what exactly that means for both of you. Doop-a-doop. Torpedo. Here it is. Oh no, oh no. So here's what happens.
Ouch.
The torpedo launches directly into the center of the shuttle, and it is completely obliterated. Miles, you are going to take 20 points of damage. You're also going to receive a critical injury. Sorry, 22 points of damage and a critical injury.
Those are all my shields are gone now.
The only reason you're alive right now is that your shields held out. If they were any weaker, it could have gone extremely badly there. You feel just complete concussive force as you're thrown to the ground as your shuttle is exploded and destroyed. For your critical injury, please roll plus an additional 30 to the roll, which you should be able to put in on the actual roll.
The critical
interface.
Number or the critical roll offset?
On the offset, do a plus 30. Okay. And Torora, you watch in horror as far as you're concerned, Miles just straight up got vaporized. And Miles, you receive an agonizing wound. Difficulty of all broad and agility checks increased by 1 until the end of the encounter. Good to know, good to know. And it is just a pile of wreckage. Erda, you are outside. Sorry, you're inside the little docking bay, and as you basically like help with the last of the cargo, the ship gets up and starts to leave. You're uncertain whether they have plans for the various fighters out there, but they are safely gone at this point. And then you hear an explosion, and you quickly open up the doors back to the outside to see Toro kind of like standing like in shock and horror by the door, and no sign of Miles. And the
or the shuttle.
Also there as well. You also see that your shuttle has been exploded, and nearby is Cassis's unique ship that he flies, hovering overhead.
Fuck.
And you receive a comm call from Cassis, Erda.
I answer.
You know, I really have to appreciate just the quad on you, at the very least. You really went for it. That was, I mean, foolish. It was a terrible idea. You screwed the mission, you screwed everything we were trying to accomplish here, but damn if it wasn't a nice try. You have my respect, Oda. You really do.
Yeah, sure. I don't know that you respect anything, but that's fine.
Well, there's one thing I respect, and that's getting, the job done. So I'm going to be needing that little device that you have, the real one.
Tough luck.
What do you mean?
It's gone.
I'm not going to buy any more of your lies, Erda.
That's nice. Have fun with the fighters. Click.
Click. And with that, you hang up, and the ship kind of like floats there for a while.
I'm gonna yell to Talora. If you can do anything to overload those shields, now would be a good time.
Hey, Toro, can you do anything to overload those shields?
Well, is it in medium range?
No, but you could get closer if you wanted to. Actually, no. I'll say that in the sense of drama, he flew the ship very close to you to deliver this comm call that he did. So now he's within medium.
Just to be even more threatening.
Maybe he's not even comm calling. He's just like
Hey,
Shouting
broadcasting it from the
loudly.
ship.
Basically, yeah. While this is happening, Miles, you are under some flaming wreckage right now, and you kind of like pull it off of you. Your head is splitting. Your vision is completely blurred, and it slowly gets back to you. Do you think this is maybe you've been through a lot? This is the worst.
Oh, no, hell no.
Not even close. Love it.
No, he's scratched. This took out his shields,
Yeah.
but like it was pretty scary.
You shake it
As
off.
always, he just somehow miraculously survived,
Yeah.
and he has to deal with more dead people around him because I think Otto is dead.
I don't think Otto had quite the shields that you did, unfortunately.
Yeah, so
We got
I'm
auto
gonna s-
killed.
I'm gonna say that he's like right next to me to drive home the fact that people just die everywhere I go, and I'll just try to crawl out of there and get the junk off me.
Love it. So yeah, Oda and Taroa, Oda at least, at this point you can see from the grave almost, Miles, who's still covered with a bit of flaming wreckage, just lifting himself out of the rubble. He's one hell of a tough guy to have survived that. And be still moving even.
Yeah, so Telora is going to try and use overload on
Excellent.
and that is mechanics versus resilience.
Okay, the ship's resilience is a little strange. So
Well, it says brawn resilience and intellect mechanics, so
right. All right, go ahead and roll. Let's see how your overload goes. Oh! All right.
I guess, to be honest, she is probably super emotional because she probably has not even seen Miles trying to climb out. So she thinks there's a second of her companion killed. And this dude, that's his fault.
I love it.
In her mind, it's his fault. He could have taken all of us with him, and none of my friends would have died. So she's like,
It is like
blast him.
a bolt of lightning from the atmosphere of this planet itself is shot out from your Omni tool.
Purple lightning.
And
Oh,
so I believe Overload does 3 plus successes damage, and then is that then tripled against shields? Is that right?
hold up. Let me go back. It says success deals 3 damage plus 1 damage for each uncancelled success, and the damage is tripled against shield, but deals no damage to armor.
Cool. So that is going to completely obliterate the last of the shields protecting this this hovering fighter that Cass is in right now. And you see just it completely short circuits and does not seem like it'll be coming back anytime soon. I would like everybody to roll initiative, please.
Cool or vigilance?
This would be vigilance. All right.
Oh, I'm gonna spend a strain for my
To increase yours by 1. Sounds good.
yeah.
So, with that in mind, what did you get, Oda? A 1 and a 2. Cool. Let's just change that to a 2 and a 2. All right. So, there are Cerberus fighters currently bombarding the ship. The massive Cerberus cruiser is coming in hot. There are also fighters chasing after the shuttle that the Shadow Broker is currently escaping in as well. And you also feel the ship you're on suddenly lurch a little bit. Slightly concerning, but you have bigger issues right now. And you are facing down a Spectre in his souped-up starship. And the first turn goes to NPC. So the first thing that Cassis is going to do is wind up those rail cannons on his ship and fire them directly at the lot of you. I think, Telora, you basically were the biggest grievance just then, so you are about to get shot. And here we go. He's currently at a medium range, as we established, so bam. Oh my goodness! He misses! Taroa, do you think you do some rad dodge? Do you think it's just a matter of, like, you overloaded him so bad? How does he miss you right now?
I'm thinking that probably because she used so much of the power that she kind of loses her footing and tumbles backwards a little bit. Like she has to rearrange herself, like, and catch herself. And I think that's why he misses, because, she moved in a way that wasn't expected.
Love it. It is just, this ship is just spitting out projectiles that launch you. Just a terrifying line of destruction, and it like pierces the hull of the ship, ping, 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 and it kind of like slams into the door you're all standing in front of, completely destroying it, going into the docking bay, destroying whatever tech that they decided to leave behind, but mercifully missing you. So that's great. And with that, Cassis says, Erda, last chance. Tell me where it is. Otherwise, things are about to get very bad for you. There's still a future for you, unless you do things the wrong way.
I already told you I don't have it. It's leaving planet right now. You're fucking around here.
Want to tell me where, Krogan?
Some shuttle up there. I don't know.
Good to know. Thank you. Now, PC slot. Who wants to take it?
I would like to.
Yes.
And I would like to try and sabotage his guns.
Oh, this is with your sabotage power?
Yes.
Love it. Okay, what is required for that?
So, since specifically it's a weapon, it's computers versus average difficulty.
Okay, excellent. Let me set the average difficulty there. I'm going to spend a story point to make it a bit harder.
Okay.
And go ahead and roll when you're ready.
Okay. I am not going to spend that story point because, yeah, I don't really think that's useful here. Aim wouldn't affect this at all, right?
It wouldn't, no, unfortunately, not for powers.
Okay. Cool. Yeah.
Ooh, that's a despair we just rolled.
Distressing.
So, Erda, while you attempt to sabotage these systems, something truly terrible happens. I think that effectively there's some terrible collateral damage that happens with the various Cerberus fighters, who still don't really know what Cassis' deal is. So one of them like basically engages his ship, and in the process of doing a strafing run, doesn't manage to hit him, but does manage to levy a salvo at your companions.
Oh no!
So I think we're gonna have an attack coming your way, Erda. And boy, should I just use the same stats? Yeah, I'll just use the same stats with these. So Erda, you have. I'll make it quite difficult though. That seems the least I can do. Oh goodness!
Nope. No, it's fine.
So the good news is that technically doesn't hit because everything cancels out, so you don't receive the critical injuries that you would from those two triumphs. But something bad does have to happen. I think that effectively the ground that you're all standing on is starting to give way. The very parts of the ship are starting to give way as well. And it's also moving in such a way that it's moving like at an angle like this. So the entire battlefield has now changed, and you'll all find yourself like sliding down a slope. And if you don't find a way to stop yourself soon, you're going to drop into that cloudy storm of this planet below. So that's the current situation. Next player slot. Who wants to take it?
Me.
Miles.
I'm right at the end. I'm gonna fall. That's not acceptable.
All right, Miles. Yes, the ship is lurching like this. You're sliding down. What do you do?
Okay, I think there's a limit to how many maneuvers I can make. Right? There's
max
only
of two per turn. Yeah.
Yeah. No matter what.
Mm-hmm.
So I will first use my fitness to get those two maneuvers.
Sounds good.
That is my fitness, right?
It's one of your things.
Yeah, it's fitness. Fitness lets me do two maneuvers. So
Excellent.
once per encounter, two maneuvers. So that I'm running, and since I'm not doing anything else, I'm going to use my action to regain shields.
Sounds good. All right, yeah, go ahead and restore those. And that brings it to Taroa. At this point, as you find yourself sliding down with the Quarians and with your other companions, you can see Miles is in fact somehow alive. What are you doing?
Well, I'm guessing that the slope is going away from the airlock, and then we have to fight up to go get back into the airlock.
Basically, where you were at, let's say the airlock was to the north. The ship is sliding in such a way that you are sliding to the east right now.
Okay, well, because she would definitely just like start screaming, back inside, we gotta find another shuttle, and just like try and make it to the airlock.
All right, if you're trying to get to the airlock, please make an athletics check.
Yeah, because that went very well in our first bookend thing. Me and athletics.
All right, this won't be too hard. But you know, maybe that's not that's not a big of a deal when it comes to athletics for you. Let's see how it goes. Oh, that's a failure, but advantage. So you don't manage to make any ground getting to the airlock that you're trying to reach, but you do manage to kind of like slam yourself onto a piece of just like a bit of the ship that's sticking out. So you're no longer at risk of falling to your death. You are secured on something, but you are not at where you're trying to get to.
Right, and
Just this big protrusion metal stuff, capacitors of some kind.
it's like I'm looking for the list of what I can use that for.
Those two advantages. That's dice
Yes.
in combat.
Okay.
This one.
All right. So very good. So there's 2. Okay. I don't need barrier, so yeah. So I think yeah. Can I give 2 boost dice? Do I have to give them to the same person, or can I do them separately?
You can only do 1 boost die per thing, unfortunately.
Okay, then I want 1 boost die for the next ally and 1 setback die for the next enemy.
Okay, sounds great. Oh well, you got 2 advantage, which means you could do either one of those, not both.
Oh, because it costs 2.
Yeah.
Now, one extra for the next of us.
Cool. And with that, you can recover restrain as well. That's basically what we can do with the other one. All right, new round. Cassius is going to take a moment and then spin his ship around with great agility, great speed, and immediately starts pursuing those in the shuttle that you pointed out earlier. And for now, has left the lot of you alone to deal with this terrible situation that you find yourselves in. So, new PC slot. Who would like to go?
I will then go if no one else wants to save themselves. I'm gonna do the same thing. Run, regenerate shields.
Sounds
I
good.
think it's more climbing at this point since
Yes.
the deck is.
Yeah, give me an
I maybe
athletics
get
check.
one more maneuver of running up the hill and then we're climbing. And maybe I make it at that point. I hope.
Let's do athletics to see how well you do. At this point, things have escalated a little bit. The ship is at a more sheer angle than it was before. So
Okay.
best of luck.
Does the critical injury automatically work?
I don't
Does
think it
it-
does, so thank you for reminding me that's an upgrade to the difficulty, is that right?
It does something. Critical
Let's scroll up
injuries.
here.
Yeah. Checks by 1.
Checks by 1,
Difficulty
excellent.
die.
Oh wait, it's increased by 1? That's different from an upgrade, let me do that.
Yeah.
There we go.
Increases difficulty of all checks by 1 die.
Awesome, thank you. Go ahead and roll.
Athletics. Ooh.
Okay, a
Nice.
success but threat. Yeah, I think you managed to scramble just at the last minute there and grab onto. Was there a particular target? Were you going for the airlock door, or were you just going for stable ground?
Yeah, I was trying to get off the part that was falling into the planet.
Sounds good.
Like that's as far as I got.
You scramble up and you're basically at some kind of pylon, some kind of something where it is effectively what was the wall. You're now using it as the floor. And so you're able to stand up on that. You're still in kind of the exterior of the ship, but you're no longer at risk of falling down yet, which is great. And in addition, we'll say that from that little bit of threat there, we'll say that
Is the threat that I'm dangling from the edge? Like that's how close it was?
yeah. Why don't we say that? Like you made it, but like you haven't made
That
it the
feels
entire
very Mass
way.
Effect-y.
Love it. Excellent. New PC slot, Taroa or Oda, who wants to take it?
I want to do 2 things, but I don't know if I can do them both.
Let's.
I want to
figure it
try
out.
and line myself up so that as I'm sliding, whatever I catch on is not just open sea.
Sure.
And I'd like to take aim and try and take a parting shot at Cassius's ship with my mantis.
Awesome. Why don't you do athletics to see where you kind of end up in terms of where you're falling right now? And then with that, we can see what kind of shot you can get off. Ooh.
No, it's not. It's
You-
neutral but threat.
Yes, neutral but threat. So basically, you manage to land on something, some kind of capacitor or something sticking out of the hull of the ship, and immediately you hear it creak and starting to buckle underneath you. It looks like it was riddled with holes from one of the fighters, and it is moments away from collapsing. So while you have momentary safe ground, it will not remain that way for long. And if you would like to shoot at Cassius, go ahead and make a roll. This will be at extreme range, so it will be difficulty of 5. So if you want to do a story point, might help.
Well, no. Miles already had the extra die, right?
That actually hasn't been used yet, so we can use it now if you'd like.
Yeah, go ahead.
I would like to. I would also like to make it known that my accuracy has increased, so it is now 3 blue boost
Oh.
because I attached myself a scope to this bad boy.
Oh, you salvaged a scope from the pirate ship, did you?
Yes.
Love it. Fingers
Accurate +1 ignores up to, I think that's 2
2 points of
setbacks
armor.
is black, or the capital B's, I don't know.
That gives you
But-
boost dice, I think.
Okay. I don't know. I don't remember. It just, in the book, it was like 2 black B's. So,
Were you going to use a story point on this as well?
yes.
Cool. So that's upgraded. Go ahead and roll when you're ready.
Hopefully try and hit him.
Oh, I hope this goes. Oh, so close. Parting shot. You shoot. You fire your mantis. And
That's so upsetting.
it skims a wing. I'll give the advantage. Can be like it skims a wing, but it does. No, it's all superficial. No actual damage of any kind. But
Which is unfortunate because I break big machines and I was excited.
yeah. But hey, more. The most accurate you've ever been with your rifle. That's for certain. Okay. With that, it is now Tororo's turn again. Tororo, you managed to land on a safe platform. Well, it's now a platform. It was a wall. Now it's a platform with the angle that the ship is going at. What are you doing?
What about the Quarians?
Yeah, let's roll for the Quarians. Let's see how they're doing.
Now that we're talking about them, I would like to use a story point to make one of them pull me up. I have a whole thing planned out.
Love it. Yeah, that's great. You can
okay.
absolutely do story point. I imagine they're just like chained together right now, just like don't let go of me. And so
I think the sister is somewhere being safe. So here's what I'm thinking.
Okay.
So Miles is hanging from the edge, and like it's clear that he's not gonna be able to pull himself up because of the wound. And then a Cerberus fighter strays by and shoots, and there's like just right next to him, and that's a blur, and he barely holds on, and like some debris hits his head, and he's a little woozy, and then he sees Kalor reaching over the edge to pull him back up, and he has no idea what's going on, and it pulls him back up, and then when he gets to the edge and looks back up, it's Viaz.
Oh, that's beautiful. I'm gonna award you a story point for that. Love it.
Are you going to hurt my heart so much?
All right. Yes. So Miles, you are pulled up to safety. Yeah. So Talora, what are you doing? It seems like everybody in your group is safe as safe can be in this situation. Erda seems to be the one in most danger because the platform she's sitting on is breaking rapidly. So, with that in mind, Taroa, what would you like to do? Sorry, Talora.
Well, she still wants to get to that darn airlock. I guess we need to find a different shuttle to get off because even, we don't want to be here when Cerberus gets on this ship.
You can also see, Taroa, that the Cerberus cruiser that seemed so far away long ago is getting closer and closer and closer with every passing second.
Yeah. So yeah, she's definitely going to put her all into trying to get to that airlock.
All right, sounds good. Give me another athletics check. Let's see how you do.
Should have upped that.
Who could have known? All right, excellent. Yeah, you
Success.
managed to reach the airlock. You see that the door is thoroughly riddled with bullet holes and is not responding very well. It's going to take some strength or some very good mechanical skill to open this thing up, but you've reached it and you're kind of like standing on the inside of it, so you're not at risk of falling yet. All right. So, let's see. Yeah, okay. So, back to PC turns again. Who does what?
I think Erda finally throws in the towel and tries to make her way also to the airlock, or if not the airlock, some way of hopefully securing herself and or finding some way of affecting this situation.
Yeah, sounds good. You can either take a second to look around, or you can start scrambling for the airlock. It'll be a bit hard to do both on one turn.
I'm gonna take a look around.
Okay, sounds good. Give me a perception check. Gonna give you a setback because the entire situation is very chaotic. Everything's a bit upside down right now. Makes it a bit harder to make sense of things.
Oh, finally.
Okay, so that's a triumph you just rolled.
Yep.
I'm seeing as we are so over time, I'm going to say this happens. Urda, you look around desperately, scrambling for any kind of way out of this situation. Your shuttle is destroyed, like all of its wreckage is just falling off the edge right now. You didn't see another shuttle inside that bay, whether there's more nearby, you don't know. You see like these dangerous sort of like guillotine capacitors going on and off. You see bits of the ship collapsing as the Cerberus fighters, which have pulled back at this point, blew up many of the ship's defensive systems. And then you see a glint in the sky. And you see what looks like a pretty unimpressive, clunky, big, boxy frigate. And it is plastered with the IMC logo.
That
Yuck.
favor. I'm here for it.
And soon it gets very close to you. And you hear somebody trying to call you on your Omni tool.
I'll pick up. This seems a bit convenient.
That's what triumphs get you, baby. You hear the voice of Sindra say, "Might explain to me what exactly happened?"
Your brother's a dick.
I know this.
This is not news.
Mhm.
I'm hoping we can get him shot by that big ol' ship up there. But first, we need to get off of this one.
Do you need some help?
Yeah. It looks back and like does some mental math, even though it's only like 4 extra people to count. I got 4 others. Think you got some room? There's clearly enough room.
She says, "The only thing we have is room. Get in here." And at that point, when you say you got enough room, Oda, the sort of flimsy platform that you're on starts to give way a little bit, and you kind of like hold on with one arm, and it breaks, and you start just falling, scrambling, trying to grab at anything that can hold you up, and the hefty kind of like freighter, very unsmoothly,
Ponderously.
yeah, quickly maneuvers itself, smashes into the side of the place next to you. You can feel the shock reverberating through the ship and through your body as you, boom, land on top of this fairly small cargo freighter, piloted by this Turian.
Let's get out of here. This is so
Nice.
crazy. Last minute rescue. Last second.
Yeah, we all run for it.
There's Erda. Yeah, another PC slot. Who wants to go? Or should we just say at this point, you will
I think we all make it.
do
yeah.
your efforts
Out.
to
Go.
We
leap,
all do the run to the shuttle, and someone's last, and we
leap through
catch
the
him.
air. Love
Yeah,
it.
the
Beautiful.
jump.
That someone is Sani.
Yeah, the back door, like this sort of opening on the back of this freighter opens up, and standing on it, Talora, you recognize Dr. Lewis. He's got this all sort of rebreather on, and he's like holding on for dear life, just like, hurry up, get on.
He's not dead.
He's not dead. That's right.
He's like, I do not accept your resignation.
It seems him and Cinder somehow managed to get out of there, in stealing company property in the process. All good things. Miles, you're able to leap over effortlessly. You get into the back of the freighter. The 2 Quarians follow. They are not quite the jumpers as you are, so it's a little more effort of like getting them to scramble up. Our Cindrus get a little bit closer, and she's like, okay, and she goes way too close to the edge and like grinds against it a little bit. And then Taroa, you're able to sort of follow in as well and leap over as everybody catches you and pulls you inside the safety of this frigate. And then Erda, you on the roof of this thing slowly, awkwardly scramble.
Flop in.
Not quite the epic final moment we were hoping for, but yeah, you land, you flop in, as it were, and the back door closes up, and the freighter takes flight out of this place.
Oh, I have another thing. So when Erda falls in, she falls on me and breaks the cred stick.
Oh,
That's a big thing. I'm gonna need a story point for something quite that big.
Right? There you
But
go.
I love it. But I love it.
You still lose.
Yeah, and I don't think you even really notice. Like nobody notices yet. You assume at this point you've gotten away scot-free, and it's great.
Yeah, it's just the audience. The audience
Yeah.
knows.
I
We don't.
Beautiful.
would like to also spend a story point
Okay.
specifically for the following.
Yes.
Erda, while she was helping pack the ship, the shuttle that
The
what
Shadow
I
Broker.
assume is yes, that the Shadow Broker is on. She packed at least one explosive device
Okay.
with intent of saving it for a rainy day,
Sure.
and instead, she's going to send a message. And the message is, "You've got incoming. I left you a package. You should probably deliver it to him."
So here's
And
what
tells
happens.
which crate and where.
Got it. So at the controls, Syndrus flies your frigate out of here. It shakes and it rattles through this dangerous atmosphere. Miles, you're probably even injured as you are, kind of like go, "Get out of here, let me do this." As you try and help, maybe you co-pilot, up to you. The view we have is of the Cerberus cruiser, and the massive ship that you all just were rescued from. The massive ship moving at great speed towards the cruiser. There is a swarm of fighters sort of surrounding and buzzing around the shuttle that the Shadow Broker and her companion are currently trying to escape in, doing the best they can to avoid the sort of salvos of fire coming their way. Then there is a very brief moment where there is a little bit of depressurization, and it looks like they lost a little bit of cargo. And then 1, 2, 3.
Just watching the Krogans and counting off.
Boom! And there is a massive explosion that quickly follows in their wake, that engulfs the Cerberus fighters and Cassis, the Spectre, his fighter as well. And that is the last thing that the rest of you... Actually, no. That is a massive thing that you see, and then moments later you see the two large ships collide, and then there is just a massive explosion of electricity, of lightning, of flames, of smoke that threatens to sort of like create just this massive pocket of hot air where you currently all are, and suddenly like a lot of clouds obscure your view, and it is a very good idea for all of you to hold on right now, because some turbulence is about to hit you very hard, and you feel this freighter of yours rattling around. Everybody's falling around, desperately trying to like buckle themselves in, just praying for this to end in a way that doesn't result in your freighter crashing anywhere. And then there is a moment of calm. Merciful, beautiful calm. And soon enough, your shuttle, your freighter departs from the clouds, moves out of the atmosphere, and makes it back to space once again. And you all can take a moment to take a sigh of relief.
That's probably where we end on the shot of space, and yeah, then it's peaceful.
Tiny attempt made to like contact the comms of Cassis's ship. Just tiny attempt, see if you
Why
get
don't we do
anything.
this? Let's say that
Epilogues,
exactly,
right?
yes. That last kind of shot is what we will end on, but we will also end with some minor epilogue. So you can all decide what does this end of this story look like for all of you. Let's start with you, Erda. What does it look like? How does it go?
I think she attempts to, contact, see if he's there.
Mhm.
Doesn't get a definitive answer one way or another, and it's just like, well, time to lose this then. Gets rid of the comms that she previously had, direct line to him through, and is like, so, where are we going? To Syndrus.
She looks to you for a second and she says, I didn't exactly think too far. Wait, did you say we?
Yeah, why not? I figure we two probably know a thing or two. We could probably get into a lot of trouble, have a lot of fun.
I've been burned in the past, Erda. I'm just a little bit worried.
So at some point you try and burn me first. Maybe we get into a spat, do this song and dance
No. No, Erda,
10 or 12
Erda.
times, kiss, make up.
She kind of like smiles at that and she says, well, you know what that means? Drinks on Omega?
Drinks on Omega.
And with that, you get another hail. You're very popular today, Erda. Another call,
Now what is it?
and it is a redacted, untraceable number, and it is just a voice through a modulator that basically says, "That was very impressive back there. Do you want a job?" And you know that this is from the Shadow Broker.
Working for you, Shadow Broker? Sure. Why not?
All
Should be fun.
right. Okay, Miles, what does your epilogue look like?
As we look at the stars, we see a little spray of welding, and we're focused down that Miles is working on some sort of machine. We're really packed in close with the camera. And as we're zooming out, he's making a barbecue for a little cabin in the woods. And just as he's standing there, I'm like, all right, this will work. I've got the Farron next to me, pick that up somehow. So he's settling in for a decent life because the Shadow Broker paid him anyway. And just like as we're that, there's a little shadow that falls over him, and it's an eclipse ship. That's my epilogue.
Love it, absolutely love it. And finally, Taroa, what does the epilogue look like for you?
Well, I'm thinking that Talora was probably gonna contact her colleague because they have some catching up to do.
Yes, to put it mildly.
She will probably wiggle her way into the research with the Prothean that she was talking about, and she will also wiggle her way into getting her friend to get her brother's debt paid off.
Love it.
Maybe there was a partial law battle somewhere in there to get it cut down with I don't even know, maybe a fancy lawyer that the Shadow Broker gave her. But yeah, you will probably, the last you will see of her is her in the research station looking at the Project A Cube, just typing away. And
you've got Vale
looking
there
kind of peaceful
on your shoulder, helping you out and everything. Love it. If I may, let's jump far into the future for a second. Now, things with Talora might have happened in between now and then, so I don't want to say there wasn't. But I think the very last thing we see for you is that far in the future right now, you get a ping from your friend, and it is basically a project, top secret project that you are being shown. And it is called Project Crucible. And your friend asks, interested?
And she'll say, always.
And with that is where we are going to end this Mass Effect Genesis game. Thank you so much to everybody who joined us. Thank you for those who've followed us on this journey.
Those we've loved and lost.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. I just want to give a huge heartfelt thanks to everybody who watched, to our amazing, absolutely wonderful players. Give them your love. Follow them on their platforms. Watch their shows. Truly, this show could not have been anything close to what it was without them. So thank you all so much. You're all the best.
This is so awesome.
Truly a lovely fitting ending there. Now, let's do some plugs for stuff. So,
Ulfric wants to know what happened to the Quarians.
Quarians.
I do too.
Yes.
absolutely.
Yeah, especially he kind of betrayed, his Quarians, but nobody really knows because Kalor's gone.
I intended to save this for like an epilogue, and then we did epilogue, so I forgot to do it. So this is among the other epilogues.
Yes.
So Viaz and Sani, they effectively find a way to get back in contact with the pirates, and they are not on bad terms with them, although the whole sort of promise of credits did fall through a little bit. However, Arcus is willing to be a little bit reasonable if it means they can maybe do a little bit of cybersecurity work for them, just to get their systems like fully up to standard in the modern age of piracy. And as a result, they retrieve Kalor's body. And so there is a moment where they are going back towards the migrant fleet to have Kalor be with his people. And before they reach the migrant fleet, they need to part ways. And Sani is there in a little ship with Kalor, and she looks to her brother and says, "You don't have to do this. There's still other things we can do." And he looks at her and he says, "Sorry, sister. I need to do something to make up for what has happened, and I'm going to scour every inch of this galaxy until I find out how to do that. It was very nice seeing you again. Best of luck." And she looks at him and says, "Thank you for getting me out of there." Kind of. He goes, "Yeah, kind of. Yeah, but it was a joint effort, we'll call it." And with that, the Quarian siblings part ways, one of them returning to the fleet, and one of them never to return again. So with that is what happens with them. So, let's do some plugs, everybody. Let's start with you, Forta.
Let's see. So tonight, round 8 or 9, I can never remember which because time zones, we are finishing up our Blades in the Dark campaign over on Polished Cryptids channel. I'm excited because they've uncovered some stuff and they don't even know what they've uncovered yet.
Hell yeah.
So I'm just like, yes. Let's see, tomorrow evening at, I think, 8:30, also 9 o'clock, somewhere in there, over on Open for Adventure, we're doing Veil of Shadows. We're in the Shadowfell. We're going to meet the Raven Queen. I'm scared and really excited. Then Tuesday morning, really, really early for us US folk. I think it'll be, 5:30, 6 o'clock for the East Coasters, and definitely earlier than that for the West Coasters. I'm sorry. We're doing more on Polished Cryptids channel. We're doing Wandering Menagerie. And I don't know what happened last time. There was apparently a trial. I need to watch that episode and find out how badly we fucked up.
Some stuff happened.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Excellent. Paladin.
Let's see. Tomorrow on Uncanny Adventures, I'll play Holy Pirate Paladin, who tries to make friends with all the evil pirates. We're in a new place, new island, new friends. We're making a chocolate ice cream. I've just imagined that it's chocolate. There's no reason to think that. But should be good. I assume everything will blow up and be horrible again real soon. But for now, everything is fine. Tune in, see our misadventures. And then on Tuesday, I also return to the Wandering Menagerie, where ye gods, the frustration. Because if you don't know, I have a law degree. This was like the worst structured trial sort of thing ever. Like, there was no defendants. We didn't have a chance to cross-examine. They just asked us questions, and it was just a huge mess.
My biggest fear as a GM is my players having any kind of expertise in anything, because then everything falls apart where it's like, why is it like this? I'm like, oh no.
Yeah. Just it was a very frustrating situation because they would not listen, and their response to sure, we're an adventuring party, right? We've made some mistakes, but their response to our mistakes has been way out of proportion. Like, one of our party members fucked up, and then they've cut ties with not just all of us, but our village as well.
All right. Why do you get back?
Okay. And then Friday on Raven's channel, we return, hopefully, because we skipped a week now, to it's called Neon Devils, where we're in a modern fantasy LA, where we're doing a bunch of work for drug dealers, and I'm doing this voice because I'm a wee little dwarg with a big axe, and I'm kind of finding my way there. But so far, so good. That's me.
Excellent. And Vivi.
Well, first off, I missed Werewolf, but I think we gave him a nice send off. So, Werewolf, if you ever come back and watch this, we love you.
Yeah.
We tried everything. I tried everything to save you. It was just a little too late. All right, so on the Twitter, you can find me as Miss Vivacia. That's MRS Vivacia. Mondays, I'm on Wiley Hobbit's channel. We're playing a 5e game in the Daylands, and right now we're on the Grendel routes. That is 7:30 EST at Wiley Hobbit's channel. Wednesdays, I'm playing a pretty late game on Mr. Hooper's channel. Hooper, the O's are zeros. And it's actually an ultra modern 5 game. So it is based on 5e, but it is more modern. And we start at 9:30 Eastern time because most of them are on the west side. So I'm normally giddy with exhaustion, and I play a total Chaos Child, which is pretty cool because I'm screwing everything up instead of, being the snarky voice of reason. Yes. And then on Valdrian's channel, end of the month, we're starting back up our second season of the Emberwind game, and it's going to be, we're going from the Skies of Axia to the Ghost of Axia. So I'm looking forward to going back to that, and that is 1 p.m. And I'm thinking we're starting on the 28th, but don't quote me on that. Val knows better.
All right. Well, yeah, just big shout out to Werewolf, who Kalor, we're so sorry you died before your time, but Werewolf, absolute pleasure. So
What
glad
a
to have
talent
you on.
that man was.
Absolutely. And to the rest of you as well. Absolutely wonderful, absolute stars. I'm so glad that we got to do this together. And I'm eternally grateful. Well, I don't like shouting out myself.
Yeah, but you're amazing.
Oh, you're so kind. Don't follow me on Twitter. Follow these people on Twitter. They have far more interesting and
This mountain sleeper.
yes. With that, I do want to shout out Ulfrig. You're an absolute star. You're so wonderful. Your kind words for us and the show have really just heightened this experience for me, and from the bottom of my heart, I am so thankful for your support and for your kindness and sweetness. So thank you, Ulfrig. And yeah, with that, the last thing left to say is that our music is from Stellar Drone, from the album Light Years, found on Free Music Archives under the license of CC BY. That's it. That's our story. I hope you enjoyed our little Mass Effect arc that we had here. Will there be more later? I honestly can't tell you. I don't know. Maybe I would like to, but schedules are hard. So we'll just have to see. Hope you enjoyed what you saw, everybody. Take care and watch out for the Reapers. Bye.